rain will start to reduce, the only true extent of devastation in Jammu and Kashmir will be clear.
Capital, around 20 colleges, including Jesus and Mary College in Delhi's Chanakya Puri, have received a bomb threat mail. The sender is suspected to have used VPN. And remember, this coming in after last week, 4 times over 100 schools had received such email threats. And now 20 colleges in Delhi, including Jesus and Mary College in Chanakya Puri, are receiving bomb threat mails. So panic gripping several parts of the national capital. 20 colleges are receiving bomb threat. Remember, this happening last week. Also 4 times 100 schools in the national capital area had received such email threats. And now colleges have been hit. Akhil, my colleague, is now joining us on the phone line for more details. Akhil, what details do we have about this bomb threat mails that Delhi colleges have received?
Last night, on Wednesday night, at around 20 Delhi colleges have received such threatening emails, and after that, what we have seen that the bomb disposal squad team, the bomb detection team, have been sent on the ground zero. And the information that we have received that it was one of the colleges of Delhi University, which is Jesus and Mary College. Apart from that, Aryabhat College as well. And if you see, Motilal Nehru College has also received such threatening email, and the sender have suspected to have used the VPN. And if you see, this is not the first incident that we have seen in the recent past. Earlier, if you see what we have seen, that in the last week only 4 times such threatening emails have been received by several schools across the national capitals, in which what we have seen that when the Delhi police team arrived over there, apart from Delhi police team, what we have seen that when the Delhi Fire Services Squad has also arrived over there, they have found nothing suspicious from the ground zero. After proper scanning, they have found out that it was a hoax call.
All right. Thank you so much, Akhil, for all those updates there. And viewers, we have more breaking news coming in. And that is, the death toll has mounted to 14 in the Virar building collapse incident. In the incident, part of the 4th-floor building of the Rambai apartment in Virar collapsed. Now, 18 people have been taken out from the debris. 14 people have died. 1 was injured and 2 have been rescued. Now, 2 teams of the NDRF are carrying out the rescue operation, and this operation has been going on for several hours. So, a part of the Rambai apartment collapsed, leading to the death of 14 people. And the builder has been arrested following the collapse of the building in Maharashtra's Virar. The death toll has mounted to 14. All right, let's get you some other news. A portion of the roof at the Cuttack railway station came down crashing amid ongoing redevelopment work there. The mishap took place over platform number 1 and 2, sending debris off to the tracks and also severely disrupting the train movement. Fortunately, there were no reports of any casualties or serious injuries, and multiple rescue teams worked to clear the debris from both the platforms and the tracks. Here's a detailed report.
Scenes of panic and chaos erupted at Odisha's Cuttack railway station after a portion of the roof collapsed on Wednesday. The incident occurred while renovation work was underway over platform 1 and 2, leading to debris crashing onto the tracks and severely disrupting the train movements. The mishap was reported at least 20 minutes after the Puri-Howrah Vande Bharat Express crossed the station from platform number 1. Eyewitnesses described a sudden loud crash followed by clouds of dust and scattered metal sheets. Fortunately, no casualties have been reported. though several trains are running behind schedule as authorities work to clear the wreckage and assess structural damage.
जो एक पुराना दीवार था वो किसी कारणवश अभी गिरने की वजह से जो पुराना प्लेटफॉर्म का कवर वाला स्ट्रक्चर था वो नीचे गिर गया था। उसको इमीडिएटली हमारे आरपीएफ, जीआरपी, हमारा पुलिस टीम, फायर टीम इमीडिएटली रेस्क्यू के लिए आ गया था। हमारा मेडिकल टीम भी स्टैंड बाय पे था। जितना अभी तक पता चला है कुछ जीवित हानि नहीं हुआ है।
Railway officials urged to check updated train schedules before heading to the station. Restoration efforts are underway, but partial delays are expected to continue until the site is secured and services resume fully.
इग्नोर प्लेटफॉर्म में जो शेल्टर का है टीन का उन लोग का जो डेमोलेशन का काम चल रहा था उस वक्त एक शेल्टर जो प्लेटफॉर्म 1 का वो कोलैप्स हो जाने से शायद कोई कैजुअलिटी हो सकता है, इसलिए हमारा कटक फायर स्टेशन से एक टीम आया। लेकिन पहले जो इंक्वायरी में पता चला कि फॉर्चुनेटली कोई कैजुअलिटी नहीं है। अभी उन लोग का जो कंस्ट्रक्शन काम चल रहा है इसलिए उन लोग का तो लेबर बहुत ज़्यादा है, 50 से ज़्यादा लेबर है। उनके साथ हमारा कटक फायर स्टेशन का एक 10 लोग का एक टीम उनके साथ रेस्क्यू ऑपरेशन में लगा है।
The collapse, however, has raised serious concern about the safety measures in place during the ongoing renovation work at the historic station. Eyewitnesses report that the lack of adequate precautionary measures during the renovation contributed to the mishap. Railway officials stated that the area had been cordoned off to prevent public access, which likely minimized the risk of casualties.
All right, let's get to the other big story that we are tracking. US President Donald Trump has hiked the tariffs on India to 50%, calling it as a punishment for New Delhi's continued purchase of Russian oil. But the Indian government says that there is no cause for concern. Officials stress that India's exports are well diversified and not overly reliant on the US market. The Modi administration has also emphasized that this is just a temporary setback in what it sees as a long-term strategic partnership with Washington. Here's more.
US President Donald Trump's new tariff rate of 50% has kicked in. A 25% tariff was already in place. Another 25% has been slapped starting today, all because India continued to buy Russian oil. The Indian government has stated that this is not a subject to panic. Government sources have clarified that the impact is not as exaggerated as projected, since India's exports are quite diversified.
भारत अपने किसानों के, पशुपालकों के और मछुआरे भाई बहनों के हितों के साथ कभी भी समझौता नहीं करेगा। और मैं जानता हूं व्यक्तिगत रूप से मुझे बहुत बड़ी कीमत चुकानी पड़ेगी, लेकिन मैं इसके लिए तैयार हूं।
The government has further stressed that this is a temporary phase in a long-term relationship between India and the US. Commenting on the matter, the government has said that India's exports are reasonably diversified, not limited to the US market, and thus immune to any major shock.
This is the 20th year of our CIA conclave, and our bilateral trade has crossed the $100 billion mark with Africa, and it will continue to grow at a faster and faster pace. Every country now looks at reliance, at self-reliance, at being not subject to such temporary changes and disturbances. We will continue to engage with African countries to build even stronger relations, stronger business contacts, stronger business trade.
In an exclusive, Baba Ramdev also reacted to the US tariffs.
टैरिफ का जवाब देने के लिए तो भारत को एक सप्ताह में अमेरिका अपनी औकात में आ जाएगा या भारत के सामने नतमस्तक साष्टांग दंडवत प्रणाम करने लग जाएगा। यदि भारत के लोग दृढ़तापूर्वक एप्पल से लेकर के, मैकडॉनल्ड से लेकर के, कोका-कोला, पेप्सी से लेकर के, जितने भी एडिडास, प्यूमा, नाइकी, जो भी अमेरिकन ब्रांड्स हैं अलग अलग, उसकी पूरी एक लिस्ट जारी कर दें। मैं तो कहता हूँ सारे मीडिया चैनल वालों को ना, जितने भी अमेरिकी ब्रांड्स हैं, अमेरिकी कंपनी है, उनका सबका लिस्ट जारी कर दो आप लोग।
These comments come at a time when the Indian government is in direct contact with more than 40 countries for boosting its textile exports. Although certain differences have emerged between the two countries, US Trade Secretary Scott Bessent made an interesting statement. He said, India is one of the largest democracies and the US is the biggest economy. Definitely, there are common grounds that both countries can explore. With India assessing multiple options and the US calling for room for negotiations, it will be interesting to see the progression of the India-US relationship in the coming weeks.
Let's get you some more news from across the nation. The new chancery premises of the Consulate General of India in Seattle was officially inaugurated by Ambassador of India to the United States. Vinay Quatra was present with the Governor of Washington State, Bob Ferguson, US Senator Maria Cantwell, and Mayor of Seattle. The inaugural ceremony was also followed by a brief interaction of the Ambassador of India with representatives of the Indian American community. General Upendra Dwivedi, COS, visited the School of Command and Major Staff in Algeria. He was briefed on the institution's role in training mid-level officers for staff and higher command responsibilities. While interacting with the faculty and student officers, COAS also appreciated their professionalism and also encouraged them to pursue excellence in military leadership and continue selfless service to the nation. Punjab Vigilance Bureau, during its drive against corruption in the state, has arrested Bhivam Tej Singla, Assistant Jail Superintendent, Maximum Security Jail, for accepting a bribe of 10,000 rupees. The arrest was made following an inquiry of a complaint lodged at the Chief Minister's Anti-Corruption Action Line. In a joint targeted operation, Assam Rifles recovered opium worth 1.25 lakh rupees from Mizoram's Longgitai district. 2 individuals were apprehended during the joint operation. The operation was conducted based on credible intelligence. Punjab government mounts massive flood relief operations. Chief Minister Bhagwant Singh Mann has instructed all ministers to remain stationed in flood-affected areas until the situation is entirely under control. This move signals government's zero-tolerance approach to delays in relief work. A fire broke out in a multi-story building in the Mohanko area of Nainital, claiming the life of one person. Fire extinguishers rushed to the spot and brought the blaze under control. The reason for the fire outbreak is still unknown and an investigation is underway. And a shocking incident out of Kochi. An actor, Lakshmi Menon, has been booked for allegedly kidnapping and assaulting a young IT professional. According to police, a late-night argument at a resto bar quickly escalated into a dangerous abduction on the streets of Ernakulam. And 3 of her associates are already behind bars while the actor remains absconding. Here are all the details.
A sensational twist from Kochi. Police have booked actor Lakshmi Menon and 3 others on charges of kidnap and assault. The complaint comes from a young IT employee from Alua. The claim says he was abducted, beaten and threatened, all in the dead of the night. Police have already arrested 3 of the accused, Mithun, Anish and Sonamol, all close associates of Menon. But the actor herself is still absconding. According to reports, the shocking sequence began on Sunday night at a resto bar in Kochi. An argument flared up between the complainant's friend and the actor's group. What started as a war of words soon spilled onto the streets. At around 11 p.m., Menon and her friends allegedly followed the complainant's car, blocked it at Ernakulam North Railway overbridge and confronted the group again. There, the situation escalated. One of the accused allegedly dragged the techie out of his vehicle, bundled him into their own car, and sped off into the night. Inside the car, police say the complainant was assaulted, threatened, and abused. A terrifying ride that lasted close to an hour. Finally, around midnight, the gang dumped him at Vedimara Junction in Paravur. He was completely shaken, injured, and humiliated. By morning, the case had been registered at Ernakulam North Police Station. The officers wasted no time in arresting 3 of the suspects. The hunt is now on for Lakshmi Menon, who remains on the run. Meanwhile, sources say the actor has already moved for anticipatory bail. Whether the court grants a relief or the police close in first remains to be seen. For now, the case has gripped Kerala, an incident of celebrity rage and retaliation that has spiraled into a criminal abduction case.
Viewers, time to take a short break. Coming up ahead, 40 killed in Jammu and Kashmir flash floods. Relief and rescue operations in full swing. Also, the big international news, a gunfire at a Minneapolis school. 3 killed, 17 injured in mass shooting. Investigation underway.
अब छोलिया हो या लोबिया, सफेद चने या काले चने,
सब कुछ मजेदार बने।
In the India Today Best Universities Survey, India's #1 ranked universities in various streams are JNU Delhi, Amity University, AIMS Delhi, IIT Delhi, and National Law School Bengaluru.
प्योर सूजी पास्ता उबालो मिलाओ और खाओ
8 मिनट में तैयार।
क्या टेस्ट है सबका राजा आर मसाला। भारत की अपनी दुकान इंडिया सोना, अपने देश का सामान इंडिया सोना, इंडिया सोना, इंडिया सोना। ये है सीक्रेट रेसिपी MDH का जीरा सिप जल जीरा मसाला। सिप सिप जीरा सिप MDH का जल जीरा सिप MDH का जल जीरा सिप।
You may also have observed that Operation Sindoor has emerged as a great example demonstrating the success of our indigenous platforms, equipment, and the weapon systems. Its achievements have once again underlined that in the times to come, self-reliance is an absolute necessity. We have indeed made
40 killed in Jammu and Kashmir flash floods. Relief and rescue operations in full swing. Kerala Crime Branch files a case against a suspended Congress MLA Rahul Mamkuthil, accused of harassing women. Congress Chief Mallikarjun Kharge on DK Shivakumar on RSS anthem recitation says the leader has apologized, adds he won't open a closed case. Prime Minister Narendra Modi to embark on a 2-day visit to Japan today for the 15th India-Japan Annual Summit. And a gunfire at Minneapolis school, 3 killed, 17 injured in mass shooting. Investigation underway. The top international focus, yet another shooting has rocked the United States, and this time at a Catholic school in Minneapolis. The incident, unfolding in just the first week of the new academic year, has once again reignited concerns over the country's deepening struggle with gun violence. There is more in this report.
Gunfires shattered the calm of the first week of classes at a Catholic school in Minneapolis, sending shock and panic through the campus. Authorities say a shooting erupted Wednesday morning at the Annunciation Church's school. Officials have not yet released the number of injuries, but Hennepin Healthcare confirmed it is treating patients from the incident. The Minneapolis city government has said the shooter has been contained, assuring there is no active threat to residents. Governor Tim Walz said on social media that he has been briefed while school staff confirmed students were being evacuated. US Vice President Vance also commented on the matter, saying the White House is keeping a continuous watch on the situation. FBI Director Kash Patel acknowledged the reports, confirming that agents are on the scene. He urged everyone to keep potential victims, whether civilian or law enforcement, in their prayers. The pre-kindergarten through 8th grade school had an all-school mass scheduled at 8:15 Wednesday, just 2 days after the new academic year began. However, mass shootings are not uncommon in the United States. They have emerged as one of the country's biggest domestic security challenges. The scale of the problem was so significant that it became a central political issue in last November's elections. President Trump had promised that under his administration, such gun violence would stop, but the latest incident in Minneapolis suggests the problem still persists, continuing to loom as one of America's biggest domestic security concerns.
More news from the United States. The Donald Trump administration has officially transferred the control of Washington, D.C.'s Union Station to the U.S. Department of Transportation. Now, officials say that the move comes after years of financial troubles faced by the station's private operator, along with the growing concerns over maintenance and modernization. However, critics argue that the decision reflects an increasingly centralized approach by the current regime. Here is more in this report.
Trump administration has handed control of Washington, D.C.'s Union Station to the United States Department of Transportation. The move follows years of financial strain on the station's private operator and concerns over its upkeep. Former Congressman Sean Duffy, now a senior official in the administration, will oversee the takeover process. Amtrak, which already owns parts of the station, had long pushed for greater control, citing its importance as the nation's second busiest rail hub. Officials say the transfer will allow better coordination, modernization, and long-term investment in the historic terminal. Union Station, built in 1907, serves as a gateway to the capital with over 37 million visitors annually before the pandemic. The Transport Department is expected to chart out new redevelopment plans in partnership with Amtrak. The Trump administration's move to take over Union Station follows other attempts to put the District of Columbia further under the president's control. In recent weeks, he has increased federal law enforcement and immigration agents in the nation's capital, while also taking over the city's police department and activating members of the National Guard, saying he's fighting violent crime. Critics, however, have raised concerns in describing the step as an excessive centralization of power under President Trump, arguing that it could undermine the spirit of federalism across the nation.
Let's get you some more news from across the world. US President Donald Trump targeted billionaire financier George Soros and his son and said that they should face criminal charges and be prosecuted under the Racketeer Influenced and Corrupt Organizations Act, or RICO, for supporting violent protests in the country and many other destructive actions to damage the country amid long-held claims that Soros secretly influences liberal groups and legal battles. Donald Trump wrote this in a post on Social Truth. Australian Foreign Minister Penny Wong has emphasized the deepening partnership between India and Australia, highlighting shared strategic objectives within the Quad framework. Wong underscored the Quad strength, noting that each member, India, Australia, Japan and the United States, brings unique perspectives, with India offering critical insights into the Indian Ocean region. Portugal's parliament paid tribute to the 4 people who died in wildfires that hit the country recently. During a special parliamentary session with the Portuguese Prime Minister, the names of the victims were read out loud and 1 minute of silence was declared. Earlier in the day, the Prime Minister responded to the criticism from lawmakers as they accused his government of lack of competence and readiness to respond in the past 2 weeks to the wildfires. The head of the International Atomic Energy Agency received a special police protection from Austria following a threat. The protection for Director General Rafael Grossi comes as tensions over Iran's nuclear program are on the rise, and France, Germany and the United Kingdom appeared earlier to declare snapback. The re-implementation of United Nations sanctions on the Islamic Republic over not allowing IAEA inspections and other concerns. Iran has until 31st of August to satisfy those concerns. President Emmanuel Macron gave his full support to France's embattled Prime Minister, who has called a confidence vote that could see his government collapse next month. The Prime Minister requested the confidence vote in a bitterly divided parliament on 8th of September as he tries to garner enough support for his plan to slash spending. Uganda's ruling party endorsed President Yoweri Museveni as its candidate for another term in next year's general elections. Museveni announced in June that he is seeking nomination for a 7th term, a move that would bring him closer to 5 decades in power in the East African country. Museveni has defied calls for his retirement as critics warn that he has veered into authoritarianism with virtually no opposition. And tensions are once again rising in the South China Sea. Australia, Canada and the Philippines have just wrapped up their largest ever joint naval exercises in the contested waters near the Scarborough Shoal, which is a long-standing flashpoint that continues to challenge regional stability and international law. Here is more in this report.
Australia, Canada and the Philippines carried out the biggest naval exercise in the region of South China Sea. The exercises took place east of disputed Scarborough Shoal, an area where Chinese forces have often carried out maneuvers to drive away Manila's ship and aircrafts. The Philippine military confirmed that the drills were concluded safely, with no encounters reported with the Chinese Coast Guard, Navy or militia vessels. The activity was among the final stages of Australia's largest ever military exercises with the Philippines, involving more than 3,600 personnel in 15 days of live fire and battle maneuvers. Responding to military exercise, Beijing has repeatedly warned it would defend the shoal, which it claims as its territory at all costs. Notably, Scarborough remains a flashpoint in South China Sea, a waterway claimed in parts by China, the Philippines, Vietnam, Malaysia, Brunei and Taiwan, which is crucial for global trade. While the United States has no claims, it rejects China's sweeping control over nearly the entire sea and regularly conducts freedom of navigation operations in the region. Just this month, 2 US warships sailed near the shoal, shadowed closely by a Chinese naval vessel. The shoal remains a sensitive flashpoint. On August 11th, a Chinese Navy ship accidentally collided with the Chinese Coast Guard vessel while blocking a Philippine ship. The crash severely damaged the Coast Guard ship's bow, with reports suggesting that at least 2 Chinese personnel may have been killed, though Beijing has yet to confirm the casualties. Days later, the US Navy deployed 2 warships within 3 nautical miles of Scarborough to challenge China's claim they were too shadowed by a Chinese vessel but avoided confrontation. The Philippines is Washington's oldest treaty ally in Asia, and the US has repeatedly stressed its obligation to defend Filipino forces under the attack, including in the South China Sea.
And Moldova is celebrating 34 years of independence, and this year there is a strong message of European support. For the first time, the leaders of France, Germany and Poland have made a joint visit to the capital of the country, and their visit comes just 2 weeks before Moldova's key parliamentary elections. Take a look at this report.
In a powerful show of solidarity, French President Emmanuel Macron, German President Friedrich Merz and Polish President Donald Tusk,
ci și faptul că proiectul european continuă, iar noi suntem parte din el. Și aici vreau să spunem răspicat, alternativa la Europa nu există, iar fără Uniunea Europeană, Moldova rămâne blocată în trecut. Simțim asta la fiecare bombă aruncată peste țara vecină. Războiul nemilos purtat de Rusia împotriva Ucrainei arată zilnic. Europa înseamnă libertate și pace. Rusia lui Putin înseamnă război și moarte. Moldovenii au ales deja direcția corectă, drumul european, drumul păcii.
The grouping formed by France, Germany and Poland in the German city of Weimar promotes itself as playing a significant role in the driving force of the enlarged European Union. The trip comes 1 month before Moldova's parliamentary election next year, amid fears of Russian interference. Moldova's security services have warned that Moscow is stepping up its effort to influence voters at home and abroad through disinformation.
45 lat temu powstawała Solidarność. Byłem wtedy w Stoczni Gdańskiej wśród strajkujących. Wtedy zaczął się upadek sowieckiego imperium, a więc też coś ważnego dla Was. I chcę powiedzieć, że musieliśmy się wtedy też uczyć cierpliwości. Trzeba było czekać jeszcze 10 lat od tamtego wielkiego strajku do upadku Związku Sowieckiego. Ale to, co było niemożliwe, okazało się możliwe. To, co niektórzy mówią, że dla Was jest niemożliwe, też okaże się możliwe. Nadal trwa rosyjska agresja na Ukrainę. Przeżywamy to tak samo boleśnie tu i w całej Europie. Dlatego pracujemy razem na rzecz dalszego wsparcia Ukrainy w wojnie z Rosją oraz sprawiedliwego i trwałego pokoju. Będziemy także dzisiaj o tym rozmawiać.
EU member states are now considering opening the first negotiating cluster for accession of Chisinau as early as next month. Macron emphasized France's commitment to Moldova's EU path, condemning Russian disinformation and pledged continued assistance to Moldova, terming it as Russians' increasingly uninhabited attempts to destabilize Moldova.
L'Union européenne n'est en aucun cas l'Union soviétique. Instruites par les tragédies du siècle passé, nos nations ont choisi la voie de la paix, de la réconciliation, et l'Union européenne que la Moldavie aspire aujourd'hui à rejoindre est une communauté de valeurs, ayant en partage une foi dans l'idéal démocratique, dans la dignité de l'homme, et choisissant d'exercer en commun un certain nombre de compétences dans le respect des identités de chacun, ni plus ni moins.
Donald Tusk emphasized Europe's solidarity with Moldova and the benefits of its accession to EU. While the EU leaders' presence in Moldova signaled strong backing, Moldova's political future now rests on the verdict of the people in next month's parliamentary polls.
And flash floods, landslides, collapsing bridges. Jammu and Kashmir is reeling under the impact of relentless rain. The devastation is widespread, with over 40 lives lost, including children and an army personnel who was part of a rescue operation. From transportation to communication, every aspect of daily life has been severely disrupted. Take a look at this ground report.
Heavy rains have wreaked a havoc in most parts of North India. But the state of Jammu and Kashmir have been affected the most. several landslides, flash floods, and widespread destruction. According to latest official data, over 40 people have lost their lives, but many more are injured, trapped in the debris, or just nowhere to be found. Heavy rains have caused massive landslides, several bridge collapses, and villages being submerged.
एक सुखद बात यह है कि अब मौसम जो है उसने करवट ली है। अब सूर्य देव जो हैं वो प्रकट हुए हैं और उससे कहीं ना कहीं चिंताएं थोड़ी कम हुई हैं। लेकिन इस तरफ तस्वीरें जो हैं वो फिर वही भयावह तस्वीरें हैं। यहाँ पर चिनाब दरिया है जो 40 फीट के इस अपने लेवल पर इस वक्त जा रहा है, और ये पिछले 10 साल में पहली बार हुआ है कि 40 के लेवल तक पहुँचा है, वरना चिनाब जो है 34-35 के आसपास ही ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा जाता था। और ये आप शंभू जो मंदिर है जियोपोता घाट अखनूर के पास आप देखेंगे तो मंदिर प्रांगण जो है वहां तक पानी जा चुका है। जो नीचे वाला फ्लोर है मंदिर का वो आधे से ज़्यादा पानी में डूब चुका है। यहाँ सीढ़ियाँ हुआ करती थी, बैठने की जगह हुआ करती थी, लेकिन पानी का बहाव इतना ज़्यादा तेज़ है कि इस पानी के बहाव ने इस मंदिर के जो ग्राउंड फ्लोर है उसे अपने आगोश में ले लिया है।
The devastating landslide near the Vaishno Devi temple has alone taken more than 37 lives, which has resulted in suspension of the pilgrimage to the shrine.
12 घंटे कल शाम से देख रहे हैं।
कहाँ देखा था उनको?
वही अर्धकुंवारी पे ही देखे थे, उसके बाद हम लोग उतर आए।
अच्छा, उतर के आगे
जी।
अब ये नहीं पता कि उसके बाद कोई कांटेक्ट नहीं?
हाँ, नहीं हुआ है, कल से नहीं हुआ है।
कितने लोग हैं?
हम वो 5 लोग हैं।
अच्छा, 5 लोग आपके नहीं मिल रहे?
जी।
अच्छा, आप नीचे आ गए। आप कितने लोग नीचे आ गए?
3 लोग।
अच्छा, 3 लोग आप नीचे आ गए।
जी। आखिरी
बार उनसे कब मिले थे?
कल 2 बजे तक।
It's not just the civilians who have lost their lives, even some of the army personnel deployed for the rescue operations are also feared trapped, and one of them have been martyred. The Chenab River is in full spate, flowing above the danger levels, and several other rivers like Tavi, Ravi, Basantar and Jhelum are nearing the danger levels, which indicate flooding. The Jammu-Srinagar National Highway have been blocked due to several and massive landslides.
देखिए, हमारा NH 44 पे माइलस्टोन 5 से लेके 81 तक चनानी तक हमारे जवान तैनात रहते हैं। तो आज रोड की कंडीशन मिनट टू मिनट हमें मिलती रहती है। आज आप देख रहे हैं ये जो पुल हैं, दोनों पुल ऑलरेडी टूट चुके हैं। जो श्रीनगर को उधमपुर से श्रीनगर जाने वाला हाईवे बिल्कुल बंद होने की वाला है। जस्ट अभी आप देख रहे हो 2 ऊपर हाई पोल जिसको बोलते हैं, दोनों आपके सामने देखते देखते गिर गए। सामने जो पेट्रोल पंप के ऊपर कुछ घर हैं वो भी ध्वस्त हो गए हैं, और लगातार रोड की कंडीशन खराब होती जाती है, जगह जगह पे धंस चुका है।
Traffic has been halted due to the heavy soil erosion in Chakki River area. Northern Railways have cancelled 58 trains to and from Jammu and Katra stations, while 64 others were either short terminated or short originated at different stations. Jammu and Kashmir Chief Minister Umar Abdullah visited the flood affected areas of Jammu and chaired a meeting with senior officers. And he has announced ₹6 lakh ex gratia for next kin of those who lost their lives in the monsoon mayhem. Rescue operations are underway with NDRF and SDRF teams deployed at the worst hit areas. Over 3,500 people have been evacuated to safety, and relief efforts are picking up the pace as the rain slows down in some areas. The Indian Air Force also robbed in to provide assistance. The authorities are monitoring the situation closely, working to restore power, water supply, and mobile services in the valley. The state that was just recovering from the horrific tragedy of Pahalgam terror attack, which affected tourism, and now nature's fury has again made the things worse. Situation remains volatile with more rain forecasted in coming days, and the resilience of the people of Jammu and Kashmir is being put to test. But as the rain will start to reduce, the only true extent of devastation in Jammu and Kashmir will be clear.
And India and Bhutan have marked a major milestone in their bilateral ties through clean green energy. The Punat Sangchu 2 hydroelectric project is now fully complete with the 6th and final unit successfully synchronized. Take a look at this report.
Bhutan's Prime Minister Shering Tokpe and Energy Minister Jem Shering, along with India's Ambassador Sudhakar Dalela, graced the milestone occasion. The massive 1020 megawatt project has been under construction for years. The Unit 6 produced 170 megawatts, making the project now fully operational. The first unit was commissioned in December 2024. Since its first commissioning, Punat Sangchu 2 has already generated more than 2,160 million units of clean energy. This significant landmark celebrates a shared commitment towards sustainable development and clean energy. Therefore, Punat Sangchu 2 is more than just a power project. It's a testament to the strength of the India-Bhutan partnership.
Time to take a break. Coming up ahead, 40 killed in Jammu and Kashmir flash floods, relief and rescue operations in full swing. And Prime Minister Narendra Modi to embark on a 2-day visit to Japan today for the 15th India-Japan Annual Summit. Those big stories and much more after a short break. Stay tuned.
Our pure Shahi Paneer Masala. Delicious, healthy, every day.
I choose a world where we dream, and the limit is the sky. And this world is my home where I'm living my best.
Mindfully crafted home decor fabrics. Sansar, a D-Decor brand. Live consciously.
MDH की देगी मिर्च,
देगी मिर्च का तड़का, अंग अंग फड़का।
MDH की देगी मिर्च। केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ रे, दिल झूमे देखो मतवारा हुआ रे। केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ।
हर पल मनाओ केसरी त्योहार। विमल, बोलो जुबान केसरी।
थोड़े में ज्यादा स्वाद, यही तो है इसकी खास बात। वाओ मामा, क्या स्वाद है। अरे मेरी राजा,
राजा और प्योर मसाला।
US is already experiencing the damage because of tariffs. Already inflation is rising in US. Already job losses are rising in US. Already there's a compromise as far as GDP growth is concerned in US. Already US is finding it tough to reduce the rates of interest, which is very, very pertinent for US. Already protests are happening in US against these tariffs. So already US is feeling the heat. They have realized that these tariffs are not maintainable and sustainable. Because what's happening is, whom have they imposed the tariffs on? They have imposed the tariffs on their own importer. So what it means is, anything which the American citizens were consuming, which was being imported from India, that would be costlier. So inflation for their own citizens has increased, and inflation is something which US has been fighting tooth and nail for the past.
MDH की देगी मिर्च,
देगी मिर्च का तड़का, अंग अंग फड़का।
MDH की देगी मिर्च।
In the India Today Best Universities Survey, India's #1 ranked universities in various streams are JNU Delhi, Amity University, AIIMS Delhi, IIT Delhi, and National Law School, Bengaluru.
थोड़े में ज्यादा स्वाद यही तो है इसकी खास बात। वाओ मामा क्या स्वाद है। अरे मेरे राजा सबका राजा और प्योर मसाला। केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ रे, दिल झूमे देखो मतवारा हुआ रे। केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ।
हर पल मनाओ केसरी त्योहार। विमल, बोलो जुबान केसरी।
MDH की हल्दी मिर्ची धनिया करे कमाल। ये रंग दे, ये खुशबू दे, ये तीखा, ये कम पड़े। क्या निराला MDH मसाला।
This is Republic Jack Olival Studio. Stay tuned for all the live and breaking news updates. I'm Deepak Suresh Kumar. Let's get started.
प्योर सूजी पास्ता उबालो मिलाओ और खाओ 8 मिनट में तैयार। क्या टेस्ट है सबका राजा आर्नब मसाला।
Ten years of Creta, legend forever.
भारत की अपनी दुकान इंडिया सोना, अपने देश का सामान इंडिया सोना, इंडिया सोना, इंडिया सोना।
आर प्योर शाही पनीर मसाला, डिलीशियस, हेल्दी, एवरीडे।
केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ रे, दिल झूमे देखो मतवारा हुआ रे। केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ।
हर पल मनाओ केसरी त्योहार। विमल, बोलो जुबान केसरी। इसको घर पे लगाओगे तो शादी का तो पता नहीं, पर घर पक्का नहीं टूटेगा।
रुंगटा नहीं तो घर स्ट्रॉन्ग नहीं। रुंगटा स्टील TMT बार एकदम सॉलिड।
पहाड़ों में एक हाइकिंग शिप भी बन सकती है।
ये है सीक्रेट रेसिपी MDH का जीरा सिप जलजीरा मसाला।
US is already experiencing the damage because of tariffs. Already inflation is rising in US. Already job losses are rising in US. Already there's a compromise as far as GDP growth is concerned in US. Already US is finding it tough to reduce the rates of interest, which is very, very...
From Asia's largest news headquarters, setting the agenda for Bharat. You're watching Republic.
Hello viewers, very good morning. We are live and breaking. I'm Shivangi Shukla getting you the latest coming in. Flash floods hit Jammu and Kashmir. Record-breaking rain recorded. We'll get you all those updates. But the headlines first. Let's get started. Army foils infiltration bid along LoC in Jammu and Kashmir's Naushera. 2 terrorists neutralized. 40 killed in Jammu and Kashmir, flash floods, relief and rescue operations are underway, full swing. Congress Chief Mallikarjun Kharge on DK Shivakumar on RSS anthem recitation says the leader has apologized, adds he will not reopen a closed case. Prime Minister Modi to embark on a two-day visit to Japan today for the 15th India-Japan Annual Summit. White House advisor Peter Navarro labelled the Ukraine conflict Modi's war, claiming that India's purchase of discounted Russian oil has fueled Moscow's aggression. Viewers, the big story coming in. White House advisor Peter Navarro labelled the Ukraine conflict Modi's war. That is right, claiming that India's purchase of discounted Russian oil has fueled Moscow's aggression and burdened American taxpayers, which he's also saying India could get a 25% reduction in US tariffs if it stops buying Russian oil. In an interview, White House advisor Peter Navarro referred to the conflict influenced by India, saying that the path to peace runs in part through New Delhi. That is right. So US President's trade counselor Peter Navarro sharply has escalated his criticism of India, accusing PM Modi of fueling Russia's war in Ukraine through discounted oil purchases and warning that India's growing economic links with Moscow and Beijing risk undermining global stability. And he's accused India of playing a double game on trade and energy, alleging that its actions amounted to so-called Modi's war. Viewers, back-to-back updates coming in here on Republic TV. And remember that already we have seen how India has said that we will protect our economy no matter what. I really want to go straight across to our guest who's joining us right now. We have with us Miss Purnima Nath, geopolitical expert, joining us live from Wisconsin. Thank you for joining us here. Miss Purnima Nath is joining us from the USA. And, the first part is about what Peter Navarro has said. And this is very strange, given the fact that a lot of European nations are trading with Russia. We have seen even US have quite a healthy trade with Russia. However, once again, the US is targeting India.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it. First of all, I read Mr. Navarro's statement. What he said. It's quite amusing to me. He's talking about Indians are arrogant, and so what are America? America is not America first, but America first has the right to protect the sovereignty of America, but India doesn't have the right. Only the white Americans, the European descendants of American society today have the right to defend their country, defend their industries, tariff away, tax away. These hypocrisy is coming across as a joke at this point of time. I'm unfortunately saying so because I have stood very strongly for America First agenda. And for President Trump, what he's doing to India is it's no longer a joke. It's no longer a policy slip. It's actually targeting India. Unfortunately, with that, they're also targeting Indian Americans here. You have heard in the last few days Howard Lutnick targeting and actually saying that he has the authority to change the H-1B and green card, and he's going to do so, which is fine. He's not targeting the Chinese, he's targeting the Indian. So if you look at it's quite a drastic shift of narrative in America today. Unfortunately, nobody's talking about China anymore. They're talking about Indian Americans. We're filthy, we're dirty, we smell, we are shit eaters. These are the quote-unquote labels coming across. And it's no longer a joke to me. And I've been asking actually Indian authorities, the Indian embassy to America and the CBI forces along with the FBI over here, if the Indian Americans are targeted, will they take responsibility of hate crimes? Because they think that we come here and take their jobs. If you look at it, the number, we're only 1% in America. And they're very scared of us. I just don't understand why. And what at the end of the day, we are going to be targeted exactly like how the Jews were targeted in Europe a while ago. And it's because It's not because we are minority or micro-minority. 1% is micro-minority. Yet the Indian Americans tend to hold good positions. Their household income is higher than average Americans. So they have learned to say, somehow we come here and take the job. And we are not qualified enough. And Howard Lutnick especially, he has been communicating to the Fox News interviews and elsewhere that H-1B is a scam. They have to scrap it. They are going to change a green card and they're going to give a gold card. My question to you, Indians, why do you want to come over here giving $5 million to American industry over here when they are actually not going to treat us well at all? The Indian American forces, the community over here are going to get targeted. No, and I've raised this flag many months ago before it became an issue. But nobody was actually paying attention at that point of time because it was not as visible as now. So unfortunately, I don't think Peter Navarro is different from what I have seen, the signs that I was seeing before. Unfortunately, our if Indian Americans are not able to speak the truth to power, and then Indian embassy to America is not able to take this issue seriously and actually speak to the counterpart of U.S. embassy and their contacts here in America, we are going to see a massive targeting of Indian Americans over here. So it's not just India, it's also Hindus. So Hindus and India cannot be disconnected. It's always, we are always interconnected.
I really want you to hold on for a second because I just want to take our viewers through the next part that we have, what has happened in the US. So let's go to the next part. We have Democrats from the US House Foreign Affairs Committee slammed President Trump for unfairly singling out India with steep 50% tariffs, even as China, one of the largest buyers of Russian oil, faces no such penalties. In a statement posted on X, the panel's Democrats said instead of imposing sanctions on China or others purchasing larger amounts of Russian oil, Trump singling out India with tariffs, hurting Americans and sabotaging the US-India relationship in the process. So Democrats are saying Trump is hurting India-US ties, even going ahead and saying that Trump's stance is not about Ukraine at all. I want to go back to Ms. Purnima Nath on this. Ms. Purnima Nath, Democrats themselves are saying that this is not about India, and Trump is endangering the India-US relationship, which has been nurtured over so many years. And if you could just help our viewers understand, what exactly is happening in America right now, because the Democrats themselves are saying that India is being dragged into partisan politics.
See, if I have to speak about Democrats, I have the entire history over here. They're at the end of the day, nobody is for Hindus. Nobody is for Indian Americans, especially speaking. If you are Hindu, you are literally a gone case because of the fact that Democrats are the party who has cast a bill, if you remember, SB 403, that actually went to Gavin Newsom, the governor of California, and it was passed by Islamo-Marxists and went through the legislative process and went through to the governor's desk for to target based on names, based on Indian skins. So basically, at the end of the day, what they were trying to do is target Indians based on the skin color, based on ethnicity, based on names, and etc. like that. So calling us as a so-called Brahmins or upper caste and things like that. Unfortunately, that bill didn't pass. But if that bill passed actually from California, it would have been across the America. They would have pushed this. So Democrats are no good for Hindus or Indian Americans especially. So when I come to compare these the America First policies for the Republican side, I actually supported the national security, the border security, the freedom of choice, freedom of speech, freedom of thoughts, freedom of the religion, etc. Unfortunately, that's not what I'm seeing in Trump 2.0. His administration has literally gone after India. When they go after India with H-1B and etc., it's not India in general. It's this is why Hindu portion of it, the dimension of it, becomes very, very critical at this point of time. And that's why I've been raising this warnings for quite a while right now, even through your platform, to make sure that actually Indian Embassy listens to us and speaks about these issues. In the last few months, several Indian immigrants who came here as a student or working in gas stations, they have been targeted and killed. You know those, but nobody is speaking about that.
Yes.
If you look at social media
Absolutely.
today, unfortunately,
Yes,
so the
yes, Ms.
targeting is
Poonawalla.
it's going to become rapid and it's going to become violent very, very quickly if it is not controlled at this point of time.
Thank you for joining us there, Ms. Poonawalla, joining us from the United States on the latest what is happening in the India-US tariff war. Let's move ahead right now, viewers, because we are tracking many more updates coming in. All right, getting some more updates coming in. 2 terrorists attempting to infiltrate across the LoC in the Gurez sector of Jammu and Kashmir's Bandipora district, viewers. And they were killed, I repeat, they were killed by the Indian Army this morning. The operation took place near Naushera, where the alert troops engaged a group of infiltrators attempting to cross into Indian territory. 2 terrorists were killed in exchange of fire. So back-to-back updates coming in here on Republic TV, viewers. 2 terrorists have been neutralized and killed along the LoC. I want to go to Zeenath, who's joining us right now. Zeenath, if you could just take our viewers through what's happening. Search operations are continuing. Who are these 2 terrorists? Were they LAT terrorists? Zeenath?
See, the identity of the terrorists is yet to be certain, but we are seeing the search operation continues in the Gurez sector of Bandipora in North Kashmir, where the 2 terrorists have been neutralized. There was an input that was shared by the Jammu and Kashmir police with the Indian Army about the possible infiltration along the line of control in Gurez, and there has been a suspicious activity that was found in Naushera Nad, and alert troops immediately swung into an action, and they had to face indiscriminate firing from the terrorist side, which was retaliated. In this operation, as of now, the 2 terrorists have been recovered. The identity is yet to be ascertained. Meanwhile, the search operation continues in the Gurez sector. We've been seeing the Pakistan at the time when the weather is a bit favorable as far as the passes are concerned. They have not completely covered with the snow, and this is the best time for the infiltration, as we have seen in past. Once the passes are covered, then it becomes difficult because of the challenging weather conditions for the infiltrators to sneak in. We have been seeing that this time, once again, the Pakistan terrorists tried to use the Gurez sector. This is the one of the line of control route where you can sneak in from the Pakistan, but again the deployment of the Indian Army along the line of control, along the forward post, the Pakistani terrorists could not sneak in, and we have seen Indian Army once again in action along the line of control, and they killed 2. We are picking from the sources, although we need to wait for the official confirmation that it is the Pakistani terrorists who have been neutralized, and the Indian Army was able to foil the bid of the infiltrators by neutralizing the terrorists. We see the search operation continuing. In fact, the drones have been pressed into service because this is the forest, dense forest of the Naushera Nad, where this infiltration had taken place. We have seen the alertness also in the Uris of North Kashmir, where recently the infiltration was foiled at the Mike post. And before that, also in April, we have seen an operation where the 3 terrorists were killed this year. So Pakistan is regularly trying to push infiltrators using the routes of Uri, Kupwara, Gurez, because these are all connected to North Kashmir, and they have the connections with Pakistan occupied Kashmir because of the routes that they share. So we have been seeing that the Pakistan terrorists using the routes and taking advantage of the weather at present, although it has been a deluge of a flood-like situation in Jammu and Kashmir, where in Jammu we have seen around 34 lives getting lost, and in Kashmir the monitoring is being done by the NDRF, SDRF, Army, J&K police continuously, although no one lost its life in Kashmir, but from the Jammu, unfortunately, the 34 people lost their life along Mata Vaishno Devi track. We have been seeing the Chief Minister Omar Abdullah monitoring the situation, being in Jammu, when in administration in Srinagar have been pressed for a continuous monitoring. At the same time, we are seeing the Indian Army carrying an operation along the line of control in Gurez sector,
Zeenath,
where they were able to neutralize 2 terrorists.
All right, Zeenath, thank you for getting those details. We see an infiltration bid which has been foiled along the LoC. 2 terrorists eliminated, neutralized. We move ahead right now, viewers. Let's go to the next set of breaking updates and updates for you. Congress President Mallikarjun Kharge has now termed the Karnataka Deputy Chief Minister D.K. Shivakumar's Recitation of the RSS anthem in the Karnataka Assembly, a closed chapter following his apology. Speaking to reporters, Mallikarjun Kharge says that he would not reopen a closed case. The matter is over after apologizing, and he says the media should not latch on to it. The Congress chief has said this, and we also have that statement. Let's go ahead and play it out.
ಹೇಳಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಹೇಳಿದ ಮೇಲೆ ಅದು ಹೇಳಬಾರ್ದು ಹೇಳಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಹೇಳಿದ ಮೇಲೆ ಈ ಕ್ಷಮೆ ಕೇಳಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಮತ್ತು ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ನಾನು ಹೆಚ್ಚಿನ ಕ್ಲೋಸ್ ಆದಂಥ ಕೇಸ್ ಓಪನ್ ಮಾಡೋದು ಕೂಡ ಮಾಡಬಾರ್ದು ಅದು ಹೇಳಬಾರ್ದು ಹೇಳಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಹೇಳಿದ ಮೇಲೆ ಈ ಕ್ಷಮೆ ಕೇಳಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಮತ್ತು ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ನಾನು ಹೆಚ್ಚಿನ ಕ್ಲೋಸ್ ಆದಂಥ ಕೇಸ್ ಓಪನ್ ಮಾಡೋದು ಕೂಡ ಮಾಡಬಾರ್ದು.
All right, so what we see right now is the Congress has pulled up the Karnataka Deputy CM, and let's tell you exactly what's happened. Remember that we saw that this case had made a lot of controversy on August 21st during a debate on the Chinnaswamy Stadium stampede. We saw D.K. Shivakumar break into the RSS prayer upon a slight provocation by the leader of opposition, R. Ashoka. And post that, we have seen that the Deputy CM D.K. Shivakumar has offered an apology for reciting the RSS prayer in the assembly while maintaining that it was not a mistake and slamming his detractors for questioning his loyalty towards the Congress. All right, a special delegation from Sri Lanka comprising of policymakers, intellectuals and media professionals visited the KIIT and KISS in Bhubaneswar. 35-member team lauded the institution's efforts in empowering tribal students through education and strengthening Indo-Lanka ties. Take a look at this report.
A 35-member Sri Lankan delegation, including policy makers, intellectuals and public relations officers of the Sri Lankan government, visited KIIT and KISS in Bhubaneswar. The visit was organized under the initiative of India's Ministry of External Affairs in coordination with the Information and Public Relations Department of Odisha. The delegates toured various campuses of KIIT and interacted with students of KISS. They expressed amazement at the institution's role in mainstreaming tribal students through education. Welcoming the delegation, founder Dr. Achyuta Samantha thanked the Ministry of External Affairs for facilitating the visit. He highlighted the growing educational and cultural partnership with Sri Lanka. Dr. Samantha recalled the association that began in 2019 with the first Sri Lankan students joining KIIT in 2020. Today, over 20 students from Sri Lanka are part of the university. Delegates appreciated the initiatives of KIIT and KISS, while Dr. Samantha emphasized the ancient civilizational, cultural and commercial ties between India and Sri Lanka. The visit further strengthened people-to-people and academic exchanges between the two nations.
Bharat 1 Minute brought to you by Canara Bank. Together
coming in,
we can.
A major fire broke out in Kishwar, which damaged 6 residential houses while leaving 7 people injured. Medical Superintendent Yudhvir Singh said the injured were admitted to the district hospital with 4 in critical condition, later shifted to the Government Medical College, Doda. The death toll has now mounted to 14 when the rear portion of a 4-story apartment building located between Chamunda Nagar and Vijayanagar on Narangi Road in Vasai collapsed yesterday. Rescue operations by the NDRF are underway. The Ganga River has been rising steadily from Varanasi to other areas, and the flood outposts have been activated across the district. A few ghats in Varanasi in Uttar Pradesh have submerged as the Ganga's water level keeps rising due to continuous rainfall in the region. As Jammu and Kashmir is battling a series of landslides and rain and flash floods due to cloudburst, a portion of the road along the 4th Tavi Bridge has been washed away in the floods following non-stop heavy rainfall. All right, viewers, getting some more breaking news coming in. Joint team of security forces, including Army's 42 RR, Abduction police arrested one terrorist, and this happened during the cordon and search operation. That is right, in Tral area, identified as Saqib Riaz. He's a LAT terrorist, and he has been caught. He was missing for some time. Saqib Riaz has been caught, arrested in Shopian. We'll try to connect to our reporters as well to understand exactly what is happening there. But it's a major win coming in for our security forces, where an LET terrorist has been arrested in Shopian. This is coming in, remember, as the LET TRF terrorist was arrested. A lot of ammunition, a lot of maybe guns have also been found on him, and that has also been recovered. As you can see those pictures coming in on your screen. Let's go straight across to Zeenat, who's joining us live. Zeenat, yes. We see a major win coming in for our security forces. LET terrorist has been arrested. Who is he? What is his background? Yes, Zeenat.
For the security forces, because when you have an inclement weather and we see the security forces working on the ground and neutralizing or arresting the threat, we have seen an action coming in from the Pari Gram Tral. This is the district Pulwama, where from LET active terrorists identified as Sabiq Fayaz has been arrested. He has been arrested along with the arms and ammunition. He's been missing since May current year and now lies in the custody of Jammu and Kashmir police. In fact, the further FIRs and the investigation has also been taken up. If we see the tally of LET terrorists getting neutralized or being arrested, this time the forces have been seeing more working on the LET outfit, because in the encounters of multiple encounters in the Kashmir Valley, be it of the South Kashmir particularly, or in Srinagar's Dachigam, the LET terrorists were neutralized. So this is a success for those forces. But meanwhile, we are also seeing a terrorist who's been active and is a local terrorist. The local support of the LET now being landing in the lockups or being arrested by the Indian Army. As the process goes, he will be handed over to the Jammu and Kashmir police for the further investigation. He's been active. He's been active for last couple of months and has been providing a support to the LET outfit. What role is there of him in the LET? How much damage he has caused, and that all will be revealed in the investigation. But yesterday evening, he's been arrested along with arms and ammunition, a pistol and other rounds to have been recovered from his position.
Absolutely.
And this is a picture that is
I'm
on
sorry
display.
to interrupt you right now, but thank you for getting those details for us. I will be coming back to you for more. India-Bhutan bilateral relations marked a significant milestone with clean and green energy. Now we see that the hydroelectric projects have now been fully completed, along with its synchronization of its 6th and final unit. Take a look.
Bhutan's Prime Minister Shering Tokbe and Energy Minister Jem Shering, along with India's Ambassador Sudhakar Dalela, graced the milestone occasion. The massive 1020 megawatt project has been under construction for years. The Unit 6 produced 170 megawatts, making the project now fully operational. The first unit was commissioned in December 2024. Since its first commissioning, Punatha Sanguchu 2 has already generated more than 2,160 million units of clean energy. This significant landmark celebrates a shared commitment towards sustainable development and clean energy. Therefore, Punatha Sanguchu 2 is more than just a power project. It's a testament to the strength of the India-Bhutan partnership.
Viewers, viewers, much more coming right up. 43 killed in Jammu and Kashmir flash floods, relief and rescue operations in full swing. Plus, Prime Minister Modi is going to embark on a 2-day visit to Japan for the 15th India-Japan Annual Summit. Stay tuned.
In the India Today Best Universities Survey, India's #1 ranked universities in various streams are JNU Delhi, Amity University, AIMS Delhi, IIT Delhi, and National Law School Bengaluru.
MDH की हल्दी मिर्ची धनिया करे कमाल, ये रंग दे, ये खुशबू दे, ये तीखा, ये कम पड़े, क्या निराला MDH मसाला। भारत की अपनी दुकान, इंडिया सोना, अपने देश का सामान, इंडिया सोना, इंडिया सोना, इंडिया सोना। आर प्योर सूजी पास्ता, उबालो, मिलाओ और खाओ, 8 मिनट में तैयार। क्या टेस्ट है, सबका राजा, आर प्योर मसाला।
पैसा लगाना है तो सेंचुरी प्लाई क्लब प्राइम पे लगाओ, डूबेगा नहीं, जलेगा भी नहीं, कोई खा नहीं जाएगा, धोखा नहीं देगा, ऊपर नीचे भी नहीं होगा, सेफ रहेगा, सिक्योर्ड, मिनिमम 30 साल का रिटर्न देगा। अब इससे बेटर इन्वेस्टमेंट है तो बताओ। सेंचुरी प्लाई क्लब प्राइम, रहो बेफिक्र।
दादी के हाथों का जादू और खुशबू से महकता घर, माँ की मुस्कुराहट और खाने की सुगंध, MDH गरम मसाला,
क्योंकि हर रिश्ता है स्वाद से जुड़ा।
You may also have observed that Operation Sindoor has emerged as a great example demonstrating the success of our indigenous platforms.
Army force infiltration bid along LoC in Jammu and Kashmir's Nowshera. 2 terrorists neutralized. Forty killed in Jammu and Kashmir flash flood relief and rescue operations in full swing. Congress Chief Malikarjun Kharge on DK Shivakumar on RSS anthem recitation says a leader has apologized, adds he will not reopen a closed case. Prime Minister Modi to embark on a 2-day visit to Japan today for the 15th India-Japan Annual Summit. White House advisor Peter Navarro labelled the Ukraine conflict as Modi's war, claiming that India's purchase of discounted Russian oil has fueled Moscow's aggression. I'm Shivangi Shukla getting you the latest coming in. The top story, Jammu flash floods. Death toll has risen to 43. Very unfortunate, viewers, because there's non-stop heavy rainfall unleashed. Flash floods have been unleashed. Landslides across Jammu and Kashmir region, causing a lot of damage to infrastructure. Many bridges have collapsed, while electrical poles and mobile towers have also been uprooted, crippling telecom services and cutting off the communication for millions. In many areas like Katra, a rain-triggered landslide along the Mata Vaishno Devi pilgrimage route has claimed 34 lives and injured 23 others, with more people fear trapped under the rubble. Torrential rains persist for the 4th straight day on Wednesday, disrupting normal traffic as Jammu Pathankot and Jammu Srinagar highways, along with other key roads, were shut due to landslides and overflowing rivers. So back-to-back updates coming in right now, viewers on Republic TV. I really want to go across to my colleague who's joining us. We have Gursimran joining us live. Gursimran, very unfortunate news coming in because the death toll is rising in the Jammu and Kashmir floods. Record-breaking rainfall has been recorded. If you could just give our viewers an update on what's happening.
If we speak of the death toll, it has now risen to 43 with the 2 more deaths being reported from the Jammu district. The toll follows as 34 lives have been lost in the Vaishno Devi landslide that took place in the Ardkwari. 4 lives have been lost in the Doda districts, 4 lives in the Jammu district, and 1 life has been lost in the Kathua district. Right now we are reporting from the 4th bridge of Jammu Tawi that has been one of the major disruptions that this weather has caused. And now with the sun coming up, what is happening that the areas that were earlier untouched, that has now also started developing cracks. I'll request Sarjeevan if we can zoom into this area. This you will see that these are the cracks that have now started developing it in the road connecting to the 4th bridge and also to the area of the Falai Mandal, which further connects to the Makwal, other international border areas. So this is very challenging because I'll request Sarjeevan to keep following this crack line. You will see this entire area. This is also on the verge of getting collapsed. Anytime soon, this will also collapse and then it will be the next area. So this is the kind of a challenge which the authorities are facing with the sun coming up, because what is happening that with the sun into being now this entire area that was submerged in the water, more and more landslides will take place. More and more area that was on the verge of getting collapsed, it will get collapsed. On the other side, I'll request Sarjeevan to show you the pillars that were there. These are the big pillars that were carved here so that the flow of the water can be contained. But what has happened to the pillars, the fate of these pillars can be seen from this very place. First pillar, it has completely detached from the main bridge. Second pillar has been submerged in the water. Third has been half submerged, and the fourth one, it has tilted from its main pillar. So this is the situation. Though the water levels of the river Tavi, it has gone down to a large extent. It is somewhere now 7 to 8 feet, which is nothing but normal. But this havoc that it has created is now making it really very challenging, because the 4-lane road that we are now standing in, this 4-lane road has now been limited to only a 2-lane road. And even you see the vehicle, one of the cars that went into this river, that can be seen here. A couple of cars have been washed away along with the motorcycles. And here a 4-lane road has now been converted into a single-lane road. Reason being the land subsiding that is taking place here, and it is expected that with the sun coming up, this will further go into the river, because it happens in the areas when there is a continuous rainfall. Then the sunshine that follows, it is going to dent this area a lot. So this area is also on the verge of getting collapsed, and if this happens, these low-lying houses, they will be the next possible areas that will be impacted if the water level goes up. But if we speak of the weather advisory, Jammu has been moved from the red alert to the yellow alert. So for next 48 hours, the alert is there, but the sun is coming up and it is expected that things will remain more or less on the safer side. Reason being that nothing major prediction has been done when it comes to heavy rainfalls or isolated rainfalls at many locations. So except Doda and the Kishtwar, where isolated heavy rainfall is expected, all the rest of the districts appears to be moving in a right direction. But for the now, the focus of the administration continues to be on the areas where the large-scale damage has been reported, because the assessment of the damage has to be done and then the rehabilitation work has to be started.
Well, Gursimran, we also know that schools were asked to be closed, and we have seen train services have been halted. If you could just give an update on that, because we know that mass evacuation process is simultaneously underway.
See, more than 5,000 people have been moved to the safer locations by the authorities in Jammu and Kashmir in different districts, except Rajouri and Poonch, which have been peaceful for this while. Now coming to the schools and the colleges, even the universities have been closed for the day. This has been done keeping in view the large-scale damage that has been done, because there was no major prediction for today for the weather to go off. But yes, the large-scale damage that has been done to the connectivity, the authorities do not want to risk the life of the children, and that's why it was decided that they will be closing down the schools, colleges and universities in Jammu and Kashmir. Apart from that, the government offices, they have opened today, but essential services are paramount for the administration, and that's why multiple man-force has been shifted from the different departments to revenue and the relief camps, so that the locals can be provided relief with immediate effect. J&K Chief Minister Umar Abdullah has ordered that all the 10 districts of Jammu, the deputy commissioners will be getting the additional 10 crore funds to their kitty, so that they can help the locals and immediate disbursement of the area. And also, if I request Sarjeevan will be in a position to show you that Indian Army has once again pressed in the Mi-17 helicopters into action. These are being sent so that aerial recce of the entire area can be carried out. It is really very important, so that if there is a scenario where the people are stranded, because there are many low-lying areas where the water has come due to the change in the route of Chenab River. So if that happens, the locals can be rescued. Yesterday we saw close to 100 people were rescued by the Indian Army along with the Indian Air Force. So that is why regular sorties are being sent from the Jammu airport to the different locations in Jammu, so that the people's life can be saved, those who are stranded at that very places, especially in the Akhnur and the nearby areas of Indripatan.
Right. Okay, hold on for a second, because we're getting some more breaking updates coming in right now. We know that some of the roads are completely washed away. Kishtwar to Padder Road completely washed away after landslide and flash floods. So this is very, very important, because like we told our viewers, that it's record-breaking rainfall, and many of these areas are washed away. Some roads have been washed away. This is coming in as we have seen that thousands of people have been evacuated as well. Most of the Jammu division has been inundated by flash floods. That's where my colleague Gursimran is. And this road in Jammu and Kashmir has been absolutely, in Kishtwar, absolutely washed away. People are using tree trunks to cross that road. Yes. You know, the picture we see on a screen, Gursimran, it looks like there was no road in the first place. The entire road has been blocked, and there are river streams. The entire area looks like there are river streams everywhere.
Yes, this area, this route from the Kishtwar to Padar has been washed away. It is a couple of kilometers after the Gool. It is in the Khwar area where we saw that Dool after Dool in the Khwar area, it has been washed away. The bridge has been washed away. The road has been washed away. And now the locals have to, now being forced without the road being there, that they have to walk on the wooden trunk to cross this very road. There is a population of roughly 20 to 25,000 people living on the other side of the Padar. And important to mention that this is the same road that connects to the Chashoti area where the landslide, this cloudburst has taken place, and even the relief and the rescue operations are still underway in the area. Multiple teams of the NDRF, SDRF are still camping at that very site along with the Indian Army to find out those missing. More than 30 people are still missing in the area. And now what is happening, that the authorities, they are trying to establish a contact at an earliest, but multiple areas of Kishtwar continues to be disconnected.
All right, thank you for joining us there, Gursimran, with all those details. Getting some breaking updates coming in as well. 400 students from the Jawahar Navodaya Vidyalaya have been rescued after 10 hours. Coordinated efforts of Punjab Police, Army and NDRF, BSF in Gurdaspur. Those pictures coming in right now. All of these children and students, they all have been rescued. And this is a picture coming in from Gurdaspur. This is a Jawahar Navodaya Vidyalaya. 10 hours. It took 10 hours of coordinated efforts to go ahead and rescue these children, these students. And it was a joint effort by the police, the army, the NDRF, BSF in Gurdaspur. So those pictures coming in right now, viewers, where we see that the BSF has rescued these 400 students. And these students have been rescued after 10 hours, I repeat, after 10 hours of coordinated effort. It's a joint team which has rescued these students. Flood fury is also gripping Punjab. Remember that 400 students were trapped at a Gurdaspur school. NDRF Army have rushed for their rescue. Those pictures are coming in. You can see that this is a school where all these students were stranded due to flood waters. The entire ground floor of the school was submerged under 4 feet of water, following which the students were moved to the first floor. Teams from the NDRF and the army were deployed to rescue the students and teachers. And due to heavy rains in the state, all schools have been ordered to remain shut until August 30th. However, we see that this is a residential school, so the students remain in the school, and that's why they had to be rescued. The rivers in the border districts of Punjab are in spate, due to which the water is being released from dams, resulting in flooding in many areas like Gurdaspur, Taran, Pathankot, Amritsar. All right, let's move ahead right now, viewers, to some of the other stories tracking here Republic TV. RSSG Mohan Bhagwat has now once again stressed on the importance of Swadeshi and self-reliance. And speaking at an event, Bhagwat said that India's development depends on becoming self-reliant in every sector. He urged people to prefer local products over foreign ones, adding that while international trade will continue, it must be based on voluntary consent, not pressure. And giving a simple example, Bhagwat said that instead of buying Coca-Cola or Sprite, people can prepare a lemon drink at home. So back-to-back updates coming in. We also have that statement. Let's go ahead and play it out.
निर्भरता सब बातों की कुंजी है, विकास भी करना है, तो हर बात में अपना देश आत्मनिर्भर होना चाहिए, अपने घर से शुरू करना। जब ये स्वदेशी की बात करते हैं तो लगता है कि विदेशों से संबंध नहीं रहेंगे व्यापार, ऐसा नहीं है। आत्मनिर्भर होना यानी बाकी लोगों को बंद करना नहीं है, आत्मनिर्भर होना है, लेकिन दुनिया परस्पर निर्भरता पर चलती है, कुटुंब भी परस्पर निर्भरता पर चलता है, और इसलिए अंतर्राष्ट्रीय व्यापार तो चलेगा और उसमें लेन देन होगी। बस इसमें दबाव नहीं होना चाहिए, स्वेच्छा होनी चाहिए। और इसलिए स्वदेशी का पालन करना यानी क्या है, जो घर में बनता है वो बाहर से नहीं लाना। गर्मी के दिनों में आप अच्छा नींबू की शिकंजी बनाकर खा सकते हो, वे पी सकते हो, कोका कोला और क्यों लाना, या स्प्राइट भी बाहर का पेय क्यों लाना, अपने घर का लाना। पिज्जा वगैरह के घर में बहुत अच्छा भोजन मिलता है, पोषक भोजन मिलता है, उसके अच्छे परिणाम स्वास्थ्य पर होते हैं, सारे डॉक्टर लोग जानते हैं और बताते भी है। लेकिन बार बार हाँ एक आध बार गए मजा करने के लिए पिज्जा खाया, चल सकता है, उतना उसमें लचीलापन रखना चाहिए।
Viewers, getting you so much more coming up. Army falls infiltration bid along the LoC in Jammu and Kashmir's Nowshera. 2 terrorists have been neutralized. Congress Chief Mallikarjun Kharge on DK Shivakumar on RSS anthem recitation says the leader has apologized, adds he will not reopen a closed case.
प्योर सूजी पास्ता उबालो मिलाओ और खाओ
8 मिनट में तैयार।
क्या टेस्ट है सबका राजा आर प्योर मसाला। भारत की अपनी दुकान इंडिया सोना, अपने देश का सामान इंडिया सोना, इंडिया सोना, इंडिया सोना। MDH की हल्दी मिर्ची धनिया करे कमाल, ये रंग दे ये खुशबू दे ये तीखा ये कम पड़े, क्या निराला MDH मसाला। केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ रे, दिल झूमे देखो मतवारा हुआ रे, केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ।
हर पल मनाओ केसरी त्योहार, विमल बोलो जुबान केसरी।
थोड़े में ज्यादा स्वाद ये तो है इसकी खास बात। वाओ मामा क्या स्वाद है, अरे मेरे राजा
सबका राजा आर प्योर मसाला।
US is already experiencing the damage because of tariffs. Already inflation is rising in US. Already job losses are rising in US. Already there's a compromise as far as GDP growth is concerned in US. Already US is finding it tough to reduce the rates of interest, which is very, very pertinent for US. Already protests are happening in US against these tariffs. So already US is feeling the heat. They have realized that these tariffs are not maintainable and sustainable. Because what's happening is, whom have they...
So we're live breaking and we're getting some big updates coming in. It's a weak start for the markets this morning. The Sensex has slipped over 500 points in early trade while the Nifty has fallen below the 24,600 mark. Heavy selling pressure is being seen across key sectors, dragging the benchmarks lower. So this is what we see in the markets today. So let's have a look at what the markets are showing us today. And according to the latest updates coming in, Sensex has crashed over 500 points in early trade, viewers, and Nifty has slipped below 24,600 points. So the markets are opening, I repeat, the markets are opening in red. Sensex tumbles over 500 points, Nifty slips below 24,600. This is coming in as we keep getting you back-to-back updates coming in. Indian benchmark indices like Sensex and Nifty open lower on Thursday, that's today. And the banks are leading the laggards after the US's 25% punitive tariffs on Indian imports had come into force yesterday. So this is how the markets have opened. The markets have opened in red today. And Nifty has slipped below 24,600. Simultaneously, Sensex has tumbled over 500 points. We'll try to get our viewers more updates coming in right now. But this is what is happening in the markets today. Let's move ahead right now because we're getting some more updates. The India-Bhutan bilateral relations have marked a significant milestone with clean and green energy. Now, we see the hydroelectric projects have now been fully completed along with its synchronization of its 6th and final unit. Take a look.
Bhutan's Prime Minister Tshering Tokbe and Energy Minister Jem Tshering, along with India's Ambassador Sudhakar Dalela, graced the milestone occasion. The massive 1,020 megawatt project has been under construction for years. The Unit 6 produced 170 megawatts, making the project now fully operational. The first unit was commissioned in December 2024. Since its first commissioning, Punatha Sanguchu 2 has already generated more than 2,160 million units of clean energy. This significant landmark celebrates a shared commitment towards sustainable development and clean energy. Therefore, Punatha Sanguchu 2 is more than just a power project. It's a testament to the strength of the India-Bhutan partnership.
In a first-of-its-kind move, the Assam government has started pushing back illegal Bangladeshi infiltrators. CM Himanta Biswa Sarma has now called it a historic step, saying that his government will not allow illegal migrants to settle in the state. And the Assam government has vowed to continue the crackdown, sending a strong message against infiltration. Assam is saying that Bangladeshi infiltrators will be deported, viewers. Big pushback coming in. No place for illegal migrants. I want to go and play out that statement.
Yesterday also we pushed back 26 Bangladeshi. So, right from Assam agitation, you will never heard even one Bangladeshi has been pushed back. So, আজি 1985 চনৰ পৰা আজি 2025 চন হল কেতিয়াও কোনেও অসমত শুনা নাছিল যে বাংলাদেশীক পুশ বেক কৰিব পাৰি আমিতো সপ্তাহত 70ৰ পৰা 100 গৰাকী 100 বাংলাদেশীক এতিয়া ৰেগুলাৰ পুশ কৰি আছো পুশ বেক কৰি আছো যেটো অসমত আগত কেতিয়াও নাছিলে গতিকে যিখিনি কথা কোৱা হৈছে যিমান পাৰি ষ্টেট গভৰ্ণমেণ্টৰ শক্তি অনুসৰি আমি ব্যৱস্থাও লৈ আছো and it is a fact that Assam and Northeast being used as a corridor so it cannot be denied these are authentic information.
Bharat 1 Minute brought to you by Canara Bank. Together we can.
And viewers, getting some more bits coming in. The Chandigarh-Manali highway closed due to landslide in Banala amid heavy rainfall in the area. Restoration work is underway, trying to restore the situation. UP CM Yogi Adityanath expressed condolences to the families of those who died in a landslide near the Vaishno Devi shrine in Cuttack, Jammu and Kashmir. CM Yogi also announced financial assistance of rupees 4 lakhs for the families of the deceased residents of Uttar Pradesh. Niyami Marksmanship Unit located in Madhya Pradesh will train military personnel, nurturing national talent to compete in the major national and international shooting competitions, including the Olympics. And viewers, much more coming right up. We're live and breaking. 43 killed in Jammu and Kashmir. Flash floods, relief and rescue operations are in full swing. Prime Minister Modi to embark on a two-day visit to Japan today for the 15th India-Japan Annual Summit.
आधे बाउल दही में 4 चम्मच MDH चटनी पुदीना मसाला डाला, स्टर करो, पुदीना चटनी तैयार। MDH चटनी पुदीना मसाला।
पैसा लगाना है तो सेंचुरी प्लाई क्लब प्राइम पे लगाओ। डूबेगा नहीं, जलेगा भी नहीं, कोई खा नहीं जाएगा, धोखा नहीं देगा, ऊपर नीचे भी नहीं होगा, सेफ रहेगा, सिक्योर्ड, मिनिमम 30 साल का रिटर्न देगा। अब इससे बेटर इन्वेस्टमेंट है तो बताओ। सेंचुरी प्लाई क्लब प्राइम, रहो बेफिक्र।
थोड़े में ज्यादा स्वाद, यही तो है इसकी खास बात। वाओ मामा, क्या स्वाद है। अरे मेरे राजा,
भारत की अपनी दुकान, इंडिया सोना, अपने देश का सामान, इंडिया सोना, इंडिया सोना, इंडिया सोना।
दादी के हाथों का जादू और खुशबू से महकता घर, माँ की मुस्कुराहट और खाने की सुगंध। MDH गरम मसाला,
क्योंकि हर रिश्ता है स्वाद से जुड़ा।
I choose a world where we dream and the limit is the sky, and this world is my home where I'm living my best.
Mindfully crafted home decor fabrics. Sansar, a decor brand. Live consciously.
President Donald Trump has hiked tariff on India to 50%, calling it a punishment for New Delhi's continued purchase of Russian oil. But the Indian government says there is no cause for concern. Officials stress that India's exports are well diversified and not overly reliant on the US market. The Modi administration has also emphasized that this is just a temporary setback to what it sees as a long-term strategic partnership with Washington. Here's more in this report.
US President Donald Trump's new tariff rate of 50% has kicked in. A 25% tariff was already in place. Another 25% has been slapped starting today, all because India continued to buy Russian oil. The Indian government has stated that this is not a subject to panic. Government sources have clarified that the impact is not as exaggerated as projected, since India's exports are quite diversified.
भारत अपने किसानों के, पशुपालकों के और मछुआरे भाई बहनों के हितों के साथ कभी भी समझौता नहीं करेगा। और मैं जानता हूं व्यक्तिगत रूप से मुझे बहुत बड़ी कीमत चुकानी पड़ेगी, लेकिन मैं इसके लिए तैयार हूं।
The government has further stressed that this is a temporary phase in a long-term relationship between India and the US. Commenting on the matter, the government has said that India's exports are reasonably diversified, not limited to the US market, and thus immune to any major shock.
This is the 20th year of our CIA conclave, and our bilateral trade has crossed the $100 billion mark with Africa, and it will continue to grow at a faster and faster pace. Every country now looks at reliance, at self-reliance, at being not subject to such temporary changes and disturbances. We will continue to engage with African countries to build even stronger relations, stronger business contacts, a stronger business trade.
In an exclusive, Baba Ramdev also reacted to the US tariffs.
टैरिफ का जवाब देने के लिए तो भारत को एक सप्ताह में अमेरिका अपनी औकात में आ जाएगा या भारत के सामने नतमस्तक साष्टांग दंडवत प्रणाम करने लग जाएगा। यदि भारत के लोग दृढ़तापूर्वक एप्पल से लेकर के मैकडॉनल्ड से लेकर के कोका-कोला पेप्सी से लेकर के जितने भी एडिडास, प्यूमा, नाइकी, जो भी अमेरिकन ब्रांड्स हैं अलग अलग, उसकी पूरी एक लिस्ट जारी कर दें। मैं तो कहता हूँ सारे मीडिया चैनल वालों को ना, जितने भी अमेरिकी ब्रांड्स हैं, अमेरिकी कंपनियाँ हैं, उनका सबका लिस्ट जारी कर दो आप लोग।
These comments come at a time when the Indian government is in direct contact with more than 40 countries for boosting its textile exports. Although certain differences have emerged between the two countries, US Trade Secretary Scott Bessent made an interesting statement. He said, India is one of the largest democracies and the US is the biggest economy. Definitely, there are common grounds that both countries can explore. With India assessing multiple options and the US calling for room for negotiations, it will be interesting to see the progression of the India-US relationship in the coming weeks.
And much more coming up, viewers. White House advisor Peter Navarro labelled the Ukraine conflict as Modi's war, claiming that India's purchase of discounted Russian oil has fueled Moscow's aggression. And Democrats in the US House Foreign Affairs Committee slams President Trump for unfairly singling out India with steep 50% tariffs. Stay tuned.
Our pure Shahi Paneer Masala. Delicious, healthy, every day.
पैसा लगाना है तो सेंचुरी प्लाई क्लब प्राइम पे लगाओ, डूबेगा नहीं, जलेगा भी नहीं, कोई खा नहीं जाएगा, धोखा नहीं देगा, ऊपर नीचे भी नहीं होगा, सेफ रहेगा, सिक्योर्ड, मिनिमम 30 साल का रिटर्न देगा। अब इससे बेटर इन्वेस्टमेंट है तो बताओ। सेंचुरी प्लाई क्लब प्राइम, रहो बेफिक्र।
आधे बाउल दही में 4 चम्मच MDH चटनी पुदीना मसाला डाला, स्टर करो, पुदीना चटनी तैयार। MDH चटनी पुदीना मसाला।
केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ रे, दिल झूमे देखो मतवारा हुआ रे। केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ।
हर पल मनाओ केसरी त्योहार, विमल बोलो जुबान केसरी।
थोड़े में ज्यादा स्वाद, यही तो है इसकी खास बात। वाओ मामा, क्या स्वाद है। अरे मेरे राजा,
सबका राजा आर्थिक मसाला।
From Asia's largest news headquarters, setting the agenda for Bharat. You're watching Republic.
Army foils infiltration bid along LoC in Jammu and Kashmir's Nowshera. 2 terrorists neutralized. 40 killed in Jammu and Kashmir. Flash floods, relief and rescue operations in full swing. Congress Chief Mallikarjun Kharge on DK Shivakumar on RSS anthem recitation says the leader has apologized, adds he won't reopen a closed case. Prime Minister Narendra Modi to embark on a two-day visit to Japan today for the 15th India-Japan Annual Summit. And White House advisor Peter Navarro labelled the Ukraine conflict Modi's war, claiming that India's purchase of discounted Russian oil has fueled Moscow's aggression. Very good morning. You're watching Live and Breaking on Republic TV. The top story that we are tracking, White House advisor Peter Navarro has labelled the Ukraine conflict as Modi's war, claiming that India's purchase of discounted Russian oil has fueled Moscow's aggression and burdened the American taxpayers, while saying that India could get a 25% reduction in US tariffs if it stops buying Russian oil. In an interview, White House advisor Peter Navarro referred to the conflict influenced by India, saying that the path to peace runs in part through New Delhi. So, big statement therein coming in by the White House advisor Peter Navarro. He has labelled the Ukraine conflict as Modi's war, and he claims that India's purchase of discounted Russian oil has fueled Moscow's aggression and burdened the American taxpayers. He said that India could get a 25% reduction in US tariffs if it stops buying the Russian oil. And we have more breaking news coming in, viewers. The Democrats on the U.S. House Foreign Affairs Committee has slammed President Donald Trump for unfairly signaling out India with steep 50% tariffs, even as China, one of the largest buyers of Russian oil, faces no such penalties. In a statement posted on X, the panel's Democrats said, and I quote, "Instead of imposing sanctions on China or others purchasing larger amounts of Russian oil, Donald Trump's signaling out India with tariffs, hurting Americans and sabotaging the US-India relationship in the process." So the Democrats' US House Foreign Affairs Committee slamming President Donald Trump and his administration for signaling out India over its purchase of Russian oil. Remember this coming in even as China, which is Moscow's largest crude exporters, faces no such penalties. The Democrats said that Donald Trump's 50% tariffs on Indian imports are hurting the Americans and sabotaging the US-India ties built over past 2 decades of bipartisan efforts. And this is what the House Foreign Affairs Committee posted on X. So the Democrats panel said in a statement on X that instead of imposing sanctions on China or others purchasing large amounts of Russian oil, Trump's is signaling out India with tariffs, hurting Americans and sabotaging the US-India relationship in the process. Our executive editor Abhishek Kapoor is now joining us on the phone line for more details. Abhishek, a very good morning. So US Democrats panel slamming Donald Trump administration over India tariffs, and a very, very strong statement there from the US Democrats panel.
Yes, indeed. It's a strong statement. And this is not the first time, in fact, the House Democrats have taken this position, second time in the last 1 week. And that really shows the kind of disquiet that's there on the Capitol Hill in Washington, D.C. about the manner in which Trump is going after the India-United States relationship with a wrecking ball. And effectively, they use the word, this is sabotaging India-U.S., the larger India-U.S. relationship. So I think in that sense, it is clear. And they are actually saying that this is not about tariffs and or secondary sanctions, because if that be the case, then why is Trump keeping mum on China? And the Democrats have charged Trump for having no courage to really take on China, because it's China which is buying more Russian oil. It's the European Union which is buying more Russian gas. And even Americans having trade which has increased by about 20%, according to President Putin over the last 1 year between Russia and the United States. So I think this is absolutely a case of malice. It's absolutely a case of Trump's bruised ego singling out India for not obliging him with a photo op with Assam Munir that he wanted with him and Prime Minister Modi together with Assam Munir at Washington, D.C. The fact that India has made it clear that there was no case of ceasefire because of mediation and that it happened because the Pakistanis came crying uncle. Now, Trump happens to be that uncle, and he's taking umbrage at the fact that we are not calling him Pakistan's uncle. I mean, we are not calling him uncle. If he's Pakistan's uncle, so be it. But this is not how diplomacy functions, and that's really leading to this disquiet in the larger DC establishment, and that's why we are seeing the House Democrats coming out second time in a week, flagging this concern that while Trump is being effectively dishonest about tariffs on India, but he's stretching his dishonesty to a level where there might be long-term consequences for the larger India-United States relationship.
Absolutely. And Abhishek, that is the question that everyone, in fact, is asking, not only from the Democrats, the Republicans itself. Also, there are questions being asked on why Donald Trump is really signaling out India. And this is what the panel is also talking about. A few days back, a German newspaper had also given its own hypothesis on what could be the reasons for that. How do you think this is going to pan out in the future as far as US-India relationship is concerned?
Well, you see, so already, we have seen Government of India's position firming up over the last 1 month. And when the tariffs kicked in yesterday, as a build-up to that, we have seen Prime Minister making it amply clear that there is no question of budging from protecting India's farmers and the dairy sector. And we have seen Rajnath Singh taking pot shots. We have seen Nitin Gadkari, taking on the American position. So I think between these senior ministers and the Prime Minister himself, India's position has become very clear. The markets are responding and taking it in stride. In fact, much of our listed companies are not impacted by the trade with Americans. It's the unlisted sector. So, for example, the dairy sector, the textile sector, much of them smaller, very few listed big companies. So, in that sense, I think the markets have also understood that there is a limited impact of these tariffs. It's more like sentiment. It's more about market sentiment. It's more about the larger geopolitical dynamics at play. Obviously, they will have a certain trajectory. Once a missile is launched, it has to complete its trajectory, and that seems to be happening. Because you asked what happens next, possibly early next year in the month of Jan and Feb, when the United States goes into midterm polls, and then when the Republicans are going into campaign mode, then there might be recalibration of the position of the Trump administration, because obviously they would come under pressure from the Republicans who want to retain their seat, who want to contest and would depend and want the Indian American community vote. That seems to be the possibility. But before that, of course, this is a period of turbulence. There is uncertainty around whether President Trump is going to come for the Quad summit to New Delhi. There's going to be uncertainty about whether Prime Minister would travel to the UNGA. Most likely not. In fact, we are being given an indication from our sources, by our sources in the government, that the possibility of a Prime Minister visiting United States to participate in the United Nations General Assembly is completely off the table as of now. And as I mentioned, in this, the kind of thrust that is there already, and the kind of indecent, indignified, and intemperate comments that are coming in from the Trump team, including from Scott Bessent, including from Peter Navarro, including from Howard Lutnick. I think the gloves are off effectively, and it's unlikely that we are going to see any decent dialogue re-establishing between India and the United States anytime soon. Not of course this month, And so obviously this is a time of turbulence that has to be, taken in stride, and that's what the government, the industry, and the markets and the people seem to be doing. We're getting reports, for example, of already demand for boycott of American goods from Mofussil, from a small town, from Middle India, and I think that should be sending a strong message to Trump that India collectively, the government and the people, are going to stare him down.
Right. All right. Thank you so much, Abhishek, for joining us and sharing your insights on that big story. And viewers, we need to move on in the bulletin now. We have a big story coming in. It is a weak start really for the markets this morning because the Sensex has slipped over 500 points in early trade, with the Nifty also falling below the 24,600 mark. Heavy selling pressure is being seen across key sectors, and that is dragging the benchmarks lower. All right, so Dalal Street opening for trade today, and we are seeing a Sensex tank 600 points. 500 points in early trade. Nifty has fallen below the 24,600 mark. Remember, this happening after Donald Trump's tariffs have taken effect. The markets seem to be a little bit nervous at this point of time, and we are witnessing some sort of profit booking as well. And not only the Nifty, the global Asian markets are also mixed. So Sensex has slipped over 500 points in early trade. Nifty has fallen below the 24,600 mark, and what we are witnessing is heavy selling pressure across key sectors, and that is dragging all the benchmarks lower. All right, so it seems that Donald Trump's tariffs, of course, have taken effect, and the markets have responded, looking a bit nervous at this point in time. We are witnessing profit booking as well as heavy selling pressure seen across the key sectors. This, remember, as Donald Trump's tariffs have taken effect. Global Asian markets are also mixed. Nifty not able to sustain the level of 24,600, and so markets are in a negative territory at this point in time. So weak start for the markets this morning. Sensex slipping over 500 points in early trade. Nifty falling below the 24,600 mark. Heavy selling pressure being seen across the key sectors, and this is across all the sectors, and the heavy selling pressure is leading to the markets witnessing a Sensex slipping over 500 points, Nifty falling, and the heavy selling pressure dragging the benchmarks lower. So the Nifty down as well as Sensex down. All right, let's get you some other news. India and the United States are finalizing a deal worth over $1 billion for the General Electric 404 Mark 1 engines to power the Indian Air Force's LCA Mark 1A. Now, this agreement follows a previous contract for 99 GE 404 engines, which has faced delays for over 2 years. Now, India has pressured the US to expedite the delivery of these critical engines to bolster its Air Force capabilities. Take a look at this report.
U.S. President Donald Trump's new tariff rate of 50% has kicked in. 25% tariffs were already in place. Another 25% have been imposed starting today as a result of India's purchase of Russian oil. Amid these tariffs being imposed, India is on track to sign a $1 billion contract with American aerospace giant General Electric for the supply of 113 GE 404 engines to support the expanding Tejas fighter jet program. Sources say discussions are progressing steadily, with a formal agreement expected to be inked by September. Under the proposed timeline, GE will deliver 2 engines per month, ensuring a continuous supply for India's indigenous fighter production. This upcoming deal follows India's approval of an earlier contract for 97 additional LCA Mark 1A jets, valued at over 62,000 crore rupees, part of the broader plan to replace the Indian Air Force's retiring MiG-21 fleet. Public sector giant HAL, which is manufacturing the jets, has already procured 99 engines for the first batch of 83 aircraft. The new order of 113 will bridge the gap for the next round of production, helping HAL hit its target of 212 GE 404 engines without delays. The delivery schedule is ambitious. HAL aims to complete the first batch by the end of 2029-30, followed by a second batch by 2033-34. Meanwhile, talks are also advancing for the more powerful GE 414 engines to be used in the upcoming LCA Mark II and Advanced Medium Combat Aircraft AMCA. That deal may include up to 80% technology transfer, a crucial step in India's push for defense manufacturing independence. As India phases out older platforms, this fresh engine order is seen as a crucial boost for both the Air Force's combat readiness and the Make in India defense vision.
Bharat 1 Minute brought to you by Canara Bank. Together, we can.
The Chandigarh-Manali highway has been closed due to a landslide in Banala amid heavy rainfall in the area. Restoration work is underway to restore the situation. Uttar Pradesh Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath expressed condolences to the families of those who died in a landslide near the Vaishno Devi Shrine in Cuttack in Jammu and Kashmir. Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath also announced a financial assistance of 4 lakh rupees for the families of the deceased residents of Uttar Pradesh. The Army Marksmanship Unit located in Mau will train military personnel, nurturing national talent to compete in major national and international shooting competitions, including the Olympics. We have big breaking news coming in from Jammu and Kashmir. The Jammu flash flood death toll has risen to 43. Non-stop heavy rains have unleashed flash floods and landslides across Jammu and Kashmir, causing severe damage to infrastructure. Several bridges have collapsed. Electricity poles and mobile towers have been uprooted, crippling telecom services and cutting off communication lines for millions of people. In Cuttack, a rain-triggered landslide along the Mata Vaishno Devi pilgrimage route claimed 34 lives and injured 23 others, with more people feared trapped under the rubble. Torrential rains persisted for the 4th straight day on Wednesday, disrupting normal traffic as the Jammu-Pathankot and Jammu-Srinagar highways, along with other key roads, are shut due to landslides and overflowing rivers. So floods and landslides triggered by record-breaking heavy rains have killed more than 43 people now. That is the latest update we have. The water level in the region's raging rivers had dropped yesterday, but the scale of damage has been devastating, and several bridges have collapsed. There has been electricity poles and mobile towers that have been uprooted. Telecom services have been crippled, and that has cut off communication for millions of people. talking about the Mata Vaishno Devi pilgrimage landslide. It has claimed 34 lives, 23 others have been injured, and more people are feared trapped under the rubble. So torrential rains are persisting in Jammu and Kashmir. For the fourth straight day, they continued on Wednesday, and those rains have disrupted normal traffic. Jammu-Pathankot, Jammu-Srinagar highways are shut. The other key roads also in the state have been shut due to landslide, overflowing rivers. And of course, educational institutions across Jammu and Kashmir are closed. They are remaining closed today as well. Gursimran, my colleague, is now joining us for more details. Gursimran, the flash flood death toll has now risen to 43. Give us a review of the relief and rescue operations that are going on in the state right now.
I'll request Sarjeevan to go to the visuals that here at the Balol Nala, where you will see that a large-scale devastation has been reported to this area. Here you will see that the crops have completely been washed away due to the levels of the flood that has hit this entire area. And now I'll request Sarjeevan if he can come to this place and show you that the people are now removing the debris and the mudslides that are inside their homes, and they are now trying to remove these debris out of their place because this area has seen a large-scale devastation by the floods. It was around 5 to 7 feet of the waters in the upper areas, and in the low-lying areas it was more than 7 to 10 feet of the water that has entered this area. Here only the Indian Army's 4 Jackli carried out the relief and the rescue operation, and this entire area that you see, it will still have, after 3 days of this massive floods hitting this very area, it will still have the traces of the water that has entered this very area and entire area. As long as Sarjeevan can show you from this very area, you will see that these crops have been completely submerged, trees have been washed away, and a large-scale devastation has been reported to this very area. This is on the main road that connects to the Indo-Pakistan international border, and even some of the areas have been washed away. You will see landslides that have been reported there. There used to be a camp of the Indian Army along with the camp of BSF there. That too has been damaged, partial damage that has been reported in both these camps, and also the landslide and the land subsiding that has taken place. Now the waters have gone down, but the on-ground situation continues to be grim as people have faced a large-scale damage. Here I'll request Sarjeevan to show you that the walls that have collapsed due to the flood levels. Here you will see that the complete collapse of the walls, that the boundary walls of these houses, they have completely decimated in the floods that have taken place. So this is the extent of devastation that has been reported in the Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir, that as far as Sarjeevan can show you, you will see the traces of devastation that has been caused and the large-scale destructions by the floods that have taken place yesterday and day before yesterday. Day before yesterday, it was ferocious floods that have done damage to every nook and corner of the Jammu city and the nearby areas. And now as we speak, the rescue operations have completed to a large extent, but now the focus has shifted to the relief operations in the Jammu district, so that those who have been impacted, more than 5,000 people moved out of to safe location from their houses, 1,000 houses damaged and whatnot, and now this is being assessed by the authorities.
Right, Gursimran, and rain in Jammu has broken a record of 50 years. What is the IMD saying now? Because a lot of people have been evacuated from low-lying areas. Tell us about that.
Yes, more than 43 people, 43 is the number that people have lost their life in this. Those who have lost life include 34 of the pilgrims that were there at Shri Mata Vaishno Devi's shrine. 4 have lost their life in the Doda in last 3 days, while the number of deaths that have been reported in the Jammu district is also 4. 1 life has been lost in the Cuttack district, taking the total number of toll to 43 in the Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir. Those who have been minor injured or with the injuries, it is over 100. Majority being in the Cuttack. Right now we are from the Balol river bridge, where we are reporting now the things have come to a standstill, but the situation continues to be grim. If we speak of the visuals, they speak volume about what is happening here on the ground, how this entire area has been washed away, how the locals, their houses have now been entered with the muds and slides, and those houses that were submerged almost the 40 hours prior to this time that we are reporting, now the situation has improved, that the waters are nowhere, but the devastation that water has done to this place is irreplaceable. If I can request Sarjeevan and we can move to the other side of the road, we can show you the extent of the damage that has been done, because this is the main road from where the traffic was halted that given day by the authorities. And as we cross this road to the other side, you will see the levels of the devastation that has taken place here as well, because what has happened, that there was a major park that was here that has also been damaged due to the floods that have taken place. Yes.
All right, good, Simran. Thank you so much for those details. You keep tracking those developments. We'll keep coming back to you. Thank you so much. And viewers, let's move on in the bulletin now. India and Bhutan have marked a major milestone in their bilateral relations with the strong focus on clean and green energy. The Punat Sangchu 2 hydroelectric project is now fully complete. And this following the successful synchronization of its 6th and final unit. Here are all the details.
Bhutan's Prime Minister Shering Tokpe and Energy Minister Jem Shering, along with India's Ambassador Sudhakar Dalela, graced the milestone occasion. The massive 1,020 megawatt project has been under construction for years. The Unit 6 produced 170 megawatts, making the project now fully operational. The first unit was commissioned in December 2024. Since its first commissioning, Punat Sangchu 2 has already generated more than 2,160 million units of clean energy. This significant landmark celebrates a shared commitment towards sustainable development and clean energy. Therefore, Punat Sangchu 2 is more than just a power project. It's a testament to the strength of the India-Bhutan partnership.
Viewers, time to take a break, and coming up ahead, Army foils infiltration bid along LoC in Jammu and Kashmir's Naushera. 2 terrorists neutralized. Also coming up ahead, Congress Chief Mallikarjun Kharge on DK Shivakumar on RSS anthem recitation, says the leader has apologized, adds he won't reopen a closed case. Those big stories and much more after a short break. Don't go anywhere.
इसको घर पे लगाओगे तो शादी का तो पता नहीं, पर घर पक्का नहीं टूटेगा।
रुंगटा नहीं तो घर स्ट्रॉन्ग नहीं। रुंगटा स्टील TMT बार एकदम सॉलिड।
पहाड़ों में एक हाइकिंग शिप भी बन सकती है।
थोड़े में ज्यादा स्वाद, यही तो है इसकी खास बात। वाओ मामा, क्या स्वाद है। अरे मेरे राजा, सबका राजा आर्थिक मसाला।
केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ रे, दिल झूमे देखो मतवारा हुआ रे। केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ।
हर पल मनाओ केसरी त्योहार। विमल, बोलो जुबान केसरी।
अब छोलिया हो या लोबिया, सफेद चने या काले चने,
सब कुछ मजेदार बने।
You may also have observed that Operation Sindoor has emerged as a great example demonstrating the success of our indigenous platforms, equipment, and the weapon systems. Its achievements have once again underlined that in the times to come, self-reliance is an absolute necessity. We have indeed made significant progress on the path of self-reliance.
Army foils infiltration bid along LoC in Jammu and Kashmir's Naushera. 2 terrorists have been neutralized. Flash floods wreak havoc in Jammu and Kashmir. Nearly 40 people have been killed. Rescue operations are in full swing. Congress Chief Mallikarjun Kharge on DK Shivakumar on RSS anthem says the leader has apologized, adds that he won't open a closed case. Prime Minister Narendra Modi to embark on a 2-day visit to Japan today for the 15th India-Japan Annual Summit. White House advised that Peter Navarro labels the Ukraine conflict as Modi's war, peddles a fake narrative. Democrats on the United House Foreign Affairs Committee slams President Donald Trump for unfairly signaling out India with steep 50% tariffs. And we start this edition with some breaking news that's coming in from Jammu and Kashmir, where we learned 2 terrorists have been killed after an infiltration bid was foiled by the army along the LoC near the Naushera Nard in the Gurez sector of North Kashmir. We learned the search operations are still underway in this regard. 2 terrorists, remember, have been neutralized. As far as the encounter is concerned, initial details just coming in that this happened along the LoC. 2 terrorists have been killed. These terrorists, the identity of these terrorists is yet to be identified, is yet to be ascertained, but a big crackdown on terrorists that's come to fore from Jammu and Kashmir, this one specifically from North Kashmir, where 2 terrorists have been eliminated. It was an infiltration bid that was attempted by these 2 terrorists, after which we learn that they had been neutralized. This comes after a joint team of security forces, including Army's 42 RR Awantipura police arrested 1 terrorist during the cordon and search operations in Tral. Zeenat, my colleague, is joining me on the broadcast on that note. Zeenat, do we have any idea or do we have any details about who are these terrorists, what was their motive, were they Pakistani terrorists, and have they been identified yet?
See, the counter-infiltration bid in the Kashmir Valley has been active. That is what we see here in the Gurez along the line of control, where the 2 terrorists have been neutralized. The terrorists were trying to infiltrate along the line of control in Gurez to sneak into the Indian territory. But before they could do that, they were eliminated. There had been an information that the intelligence about the infiltration movement was given by the Jammu and Kashmir to the Indian Army, and Indian Army along the line of control executed this operation. We are picking that the 2 terrorists have been neutralized. See, it has been quite a busy day for the Jammu and Kashmir administration, for the security forces as well. Seeing the Kashmiri news from the South Kashmir to North Kashmir, taking the count from the South Kashmir Tral, where 1 LET terrorist have been apprehended along with arms and ammunition. Then in Handwara, a cordon and search operation turned into a hide bus where an UBGL and the other arms and ammunitions along with the utensils have been recovered. This was again to avoid the major tragedy in North Kashmir's Handwara, and then simultaneously the Gurez, which is one of the shortest route to infiltrate and have been used by the terrorists for a very long time. They're taking the advantage that before the passes turn into a snowy one, they try to sneak in. Then the cover is usually given by the Pakistan Army to help these Pakistan-trained terrorists to sneak into the Indian territory. Today, once again, an infiltration bid was foiled, and this was a Naushera Nard. This is the exact location where this infiltration had taken place, and the two terrorists have been neutralized by the Indian Army. Meanwhile, we have seen a number of operations along the line of control this year, be it from the North Kashmir's Baramulla or the Kupwara, and now another coming in from the Gurez sector of Bandipora, where the 2 terrorists have been neutralized. And the operation still continues, and also the search in the forest belt is on.
Right, Zina, like we were just pointing out how the search operations are still underway. Are we looking forward to some more terrorists being trapped and an encounter that could take place likely later in the evening?
Yes, Tanisha, we need to understand this is a huge forest belt that is connecting you to the line of control. This is exactly the edge of the line of control where this operation is taking place. And the dense foliage is there. With the result, we see the aerial surveillances have been pressed to see if there are more terrorists. Because as I already said that there has been an input coming from Jammu and Kashmir police. The Bandipora police has shared an input with the Indian Army about the infiltration that might take place. They have taken this input very serious, and that resulted into an elimination of 2 terrorists because the suspicious movement was observed along the line of control by the Indian Army. The Indian Army came under the heavy fire, and that fire was retaliated. In this operation, the 2 terrorists have been neutralized. Although the identity of the terrorists who have been neutralized is yet to be asserted, meanwhile the search operation continues, and also to see that if at all there are more terrorists in number in the forest belt, that too will be neutralized, for which the search operation is being carried by the people, by the Indian Army who are posted along the line of control in the Gurez sector.
Right, Zina, thank you very much for getting us those details. Quickly shifting our focus to some more breaking news that's coming in. The Trump administration has proposed new restrictions on the I-visa classification for foreign journalists covering the United States. Now, under the proposal, visas will now have a 240-day limit, replacing the long-standing indefinite duration of status system in place since 1985. Now, the Department of Homeland and Security says the move is aimed at preventing fraud and abuse, with extensions granted only if officials are satisfied with the journalist's advice. All right, Chandrakala is joining us on the broadcast on that. Chandrakala, share more details about how the United States has now restricted the I-visas. It's put a 240-day limit. What are the repercussions that India is looking forward to?
Well, absolutely. After the non-immigrants, the U.S. visa rules are saying that the non-immigrant application should be, should have an in-person interview. Now, this is another rule being imposed by U.S. as far as the visa policy is concerned. Now, the Homeland Security has come up. Department of Homeland Security has come up with this very decision of restricting the stay limit of journalists, students. This could have repercussions as far as the students are concerned, who, US is one of the most preferred destination when it comes to Indian students moving out for further studies. So this could also impact the F1, J1 visa holders as far as this particular move is concerned. Also comes at a very, very crucial time when the relations between both the countries are at all-time low, and this particular visa rules being imposed by US could have the impact could have more on the students who every year a lot of students, goes to US for pursuing further studies. So yes, the repercussion would be on the students as far as this, restriction of staying limit is concerned, being imposed by the US right at this moment. Also, this is particularly aimed at, preventing fraud and abuse, which is one of the policies of the US president as far as illegal immigrants are concerned. And so this is another step towards curbing such abuse and fraud. And this would be an extensions granted only if officials are satisfied with the journalist's activities. So it comes at a very, very important time where US is taking such decisions, and this could have more impact on the Indian students particularly who visits US, who is in US for further studies. And now that earlier they could stay as much as, for as much as days possible, but now this limitation of their stay could, impact them further.
Right, Chandrakala, thank you very much for getting us those details. Shifting our focus now, in a bold response to United States President Donald Trump's 50% tariffs, the lovely professional university has now banned American beverages on campus, signaling a strong push for Swadeshi 2.0. The university says India will not bow to unfair foreign tactics, and it's calling on everyone to support local products and make the country stronger from within. Listen in.
अगस्त को जब भारत का स्वतंत्रता दिवस था, एक फैसला लिया था पूरे यूनिवर्सिटी के स्टूडेंट, स्टाफ और मैंने मिलके कि यदि ट्रंप साहब ने 27 अगस्त को 50% टैरिफ भारत के प्रोडक्ट्स पर लगाया तो हम लवली प्रोफेशनल यूनिवर्सिटी के प्रांगण से, कैंपस से अमेरिकन ब्रांड्स की जो सॉफ्ट ड्रिंक्स है उसका बहिष्कार कर देंगे, उनको बैन कर देंगे, वो वहाँ पर नहीं बिकेंगी। आज वो हम करने जा रहे हैं और मुझे उम्मीद है जब हम ये बैन करने जा रहे हैं तो भारत के लोगों में, हमारी भारत के जनता में, हम सब भारतीयों में भी एक स्वदेशी की तरफ रुझान बढ़ेगा।
Some more breaking news that's coming in. RSS Chief Mohan Bhagwat has also stressed on the importance of Swadeshi and self-reliance. This comes amid the escalating tariff war by the United States on India. Speaking at an event, the RSS Chief Mohan Bhagwat said India's development depends on becoming self-reliant in every sector. He urged people to prefer local products over foreign ones, adding that while international trade will continue, it must be based on voluntary consent and not pressure.
आत्मनिर्भरता सब बातों की कुंजी है, विकास भी करना है तो हर बात में अपना देश आत्मनिर्भर होना चाहिए, अपने घर से शुरू करना। जब ये स्वदेशी की बात करते हैं तो लगता है कि विदेशों से संबंध नहीं रहेंगे व्यापार, ऐसा नहीं है। आत्मनिर्भर होना यानी बाकी लोगों को बंद करना नहीं है, आत्मनिर्भर होना है, लेकिन दुनिया परस्पर निर्भरता पर चलती है, कुटुंब भी परस्पर निर्भरता पर चलता है और इसलिए अंतर्राष्ट्रीय व्यापार तो चलेगा और उसमें लेन देन होगी, बस इसमें दबाव नहीं होना चाहिए, स्वेच्छा होनी चाहिए। और इसलिए स्वदेशी का पालन करना यानी क्या है, जो घर में बनता है वो बाहर से नहीं लाना। गर्मी के दिनों में आप अच्छा नींबू की शिकंजी बनाकर खा सकते हो, वे पी सकते हो, कोका कोला और क्यों लाना, या स्प्राइट भी बाहर का पेय क्यों लाना, अपने घर का लाना। पिज्जा वगैरह के घर में बहुत अच्छा भोजन मिलता है, पोषक भोजन मिलता है, उसके अच्छे परिणाम स्वास्थ्य पर होते हैं, सारे डॉक्टर लोग जानते हैं और बताते भी है। लेकिन बार बार हाँ एक आध बार गए मजा करने के लिए पिज्जा खाया, चल सकता है, उतना उसमें लचीलापन रखना चाहिए।
Focus to some breaking news that's coming in from the state of Karnataka. Pramoda Devi Virar, the queen of Mysore royal family, has expressed concern over this year's Dasara celebrations in Karnataka. She said statements claiming Chamundeshwari temple does not belong to Hindus were unnecessary. The queen clarified that the government's Dasara is a cultural event while traditional religious rituals at the temple will continue privately. The member of Mysore's erstwhile royal family and MP Yaduvir had also said and expressed strong dismay over the way this year's Dasara celebrations are being planned by the Karnataka government. In a note, she said that politics had found a way around the sacred Chamundeshwari temple atop the Chamundi Hills. Her remarks, remember, comes in backdrop of the government inviting writer Manu Mushtaq to inaugurate this year's Nada Haba, the Janta Dasara, a move that has sparked a widespread debate.
Bharat 1 Minute brought to you by Canara Bank. Together we can.
Here's a quick check of the other stories that we're tracking in Bharat in 1 minute. The district administration has launched a new initiative providing free NEET and JEE coaching to 11th and 12th grade students preparing for competitive exams. 10 clusters will be formed in the city to train 600 students, specifically those in class 11th and 12th. The aim is to give students good exposure. Residents of Bhaderwa are in process to be moved to safer places as houses and temples are damaged in the area due to flash floods. The local authorities and NDRF are working towards the rescue operation. As Chhattisgarh moves along the path to come out from the clutches of armed Naxalism, the administration in the Maoist-hit Dantewada has started preparations to ensure a bright future for children through an innovative campaign, Bal Mitra. The campaign has been launched in Dantewada to bring school dropout children back into the path of education. The water level of Jhelum River in Srinagar has decreased, but as a precautionary measure, universities, colleges and schools in Kashmir remained shut for the second day. All right, shifting our focus to some breaking news that's coming in. There's a political storm that has erupted over Stalin's visit to Bihar. Stalin, who visited Bihar, remember, at a time when elections are due this year end, with the BJP raking up the controversy over the anti-Bihar and anti-Sanatana remarks made by the DMK leaders in the past. The BJP has also dared Stalin, who heads the DMK, to repeat the comments on Biharis by his colleague Dayanidhi Maran and by his son Udyanidhi on the Sanatana Dharma. If he has the guts, when he reaches the election-bound state this afternoon, an open dare that has been given out by the BJP to MK Stalin, and all of this regarding the anti-Sanatan and the anti-Hindu remarks, anti-Bihari comment that had been made by MK Stalin in the past. It has all come back now to haunt MK Stalin. Let's listen into some reactions that we're getting on the story.
बड़े फक्र के साथ मैं बिहार के लोगों के सामने प्रश्न रखना चाहता हूं कि आप तेजस्वी यादव और राहुल गांधी से पूछें, क्या बिहार को चिढ़ाने के लिए, बिहार के लोगों को चैलेंज करने के लिए बिहार में क्यों लाए हैं? क्या लालू यादव का आधार कम गया? क्या राहुल गांधी का आधार कम गया है? या हिंदुओं को गाली देने के लिए उन्होंने स्टालिन को, बिहार को गाली देने के लिए रेवंत रेड्डी को लाए हैं? लालू यादव, तेजस्वी यादव और राहुल गांधी को माफी मांगना पड़ेगा बिहार के लोगों से, नहीं तो इसका खामियाजा भुगतना पड़ेगा।
Jammu flash floods death toll has risen to 43 now. Non-stop heavy rain unleashed flash floods in landslides across Jammu and Kashmir, causing severe damage to infrastructures. Several bridges have collapsed, while electricity poles and mobile towers have been uprooted, crippling telecom services and cutting off communication for millions. Watch this report from Ground Zero.
Heavy rains are continuing in the Jammu district, and also the water level is rising with each passing minute. Right now we are at the Jammu Tawi, where the water level has already surpassed the alert mark. Right now, since morning, we have been witnessing that how the water level is rising in the upper reaches of Jammu, and now here at the Jammu Tawi, you will see that the water levels have reached the next level, because in the upper reaches of the Udhampur, we are witnessing the regular rainfalls taking place, and also the inclement weather conditions that are making it really very challenging. And here at the Jammu Tawi, the gusty flow of the water is making it really very challenging for the authorities to actually save the lower lying areas of Jammu. Here the fourth bridge of Jammu Tawi, the traffic is now moving with the full flow, but the authorities are also keeping a tab on the movement of the traffic, because if the water level surpasses a couple of feet, so then it will be that the traffic has to be halted. It was here in last one decade, 2024, when the river Tavi broke down from this very area and the water entered the civilian areas. This time also, if we speak of the situation is more or less the same, because the water is increasing with a rapid speed and there is no relief whatever it seems for now for the people, because the water level is increasing rapidly. And now the authorities, the Jammu and Kashmir Chief Minister Omar Abdullah is also holding a high-level meeting with the authorities, including the IGP Jammu and the Divisional Commissioner, along with the disaster management and the relief rehabilitation authorities, so that the situation can be contained, because nature's fury is on the rise. We have lost already close to 100 lives in the Kishtwar cloudburst, and now these inclement weather conditions and the heavy rains are making it difficult for the Jammu city and the nearby areas as well.
It's time for us to now slip into a short break. After the break, we'll keep you updated from ground zero on the flash floods that have hit Jammu and Kashmir that have killed nearly 43 people. And the Prime Minister is to leave for Japan today. Also, next up on his itinerary is a visit to China. Getting all those details coming up after a short break.
प्योर सूजी पास्ता उबालो मिलाओ और खाओ 8 मिनट में तैयार क्या टेस्ट है सबका राजा आर प्योर मसाला
10 years of Creta, legend forever.
अब छोलिया हो या लोबिया, सफेद चने या काले चने,
सब कुछ मजेदार बने।
केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ रे, दिल झूमे देखो मतवारा हुआ रे। केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ।
हर पल मनाओ केसरी त्योहार। विमल, बोलो जुबान केसरी।
आर प्योर शाही पनीर मसाला, डिलीशियस, हेल्दी एवरी डे।
US is already experiencing the damage because of tariffs. Already inflation is rising in US. Already job losses are rising in US. Already there's a compromise as far as GDP growth is concerned in US. Already US is finding it tough to reduce.
Breaking news now coming in a first of its kind move, the Assam government has started pushing back illegal Bangladeshi infiltrators. Chief Minister Himanta Sarma has called it a historic step, saying that his government will not allow illegal migrants to settle in the state. The Assam government has vowed to continue the crackdown, sending a strong message against infiltration. Listen into this reaction of the Assam Chief Minister Himanta Sarma.
Yesterday also we pushed back 26 Bangladeshi. So, right from Assam agitation, you will never heard even one Bangladeshi has been pushed back. So, আজি 1985 চনৰ পৰা আজি 2025 চন হল কেতিয়াও কোনেও অসমত শুনা নাছিল যে বাংলাদেশীক পুশবেক কৰিব পাৰি আমিতো সপ্তাহত 70ৰ পৰা 100 গৰাকী 100 বাংলাদেশীক এতিয়া ৰেগুলাৰ পুশ কৰি আছো পুশবেক কৰি আছো যেটো অসমত আগত কেতিয়াও নাছিলে গতিকে যিখিনি কথা কোৱা হৈছে যিমান পাৰি ষ্টেট গভৰ্ণমেণ্টৰ শক্তি অনুসৰি আমি ব্যৱস্থাও লৈ আছো and it is a fact that Assam and Northeast being used as a corridor so it cannot be
India-Bhutan bilateral relation marked a significant milestone with clean and green energy. The Puna Sangshu 2 hydroelectric project has now been fully completed along with its synchronization of its 6th and final unit. Here's the report on that.
Bhutan's Prime Minister Shering Tokbe and Energy Minister Jem Shering, along with India's Ambassador Sudhakar Dalela, graced the milestone occasion. The massive 1,020 megawatt project has been under construction for years. The Unit 6 produced 170 megawatts, making the project now fully operational. The first unit was commissioned in December 2024. Since its first commissioning, Puna Sangshu 2 has already generated more than 2,160 million units of clean energy. This significant landmark celebrates a shared commitment towards sustainable development and clean energy. Therefore, Punata Sangchu 2 is more than just a power project. It's a testament to the strength of the India-Bhutan partnership.
Time for us to now slip into a short break. After the break, we'll get into the details of the two terrorists who have been killed along the line of control. And Congress Chief Mallikarjun Kharge speaks on the RSS anthem row that is only getting bigger, says the remark that was made by DK Shivakumar was unnecessary.
दादी के हाथों का जादू और खुशबू से महकता घर, माँ की मुस्कुराहट और खाने की सुगंध। MDH गरम मसाला,
क्योंकि हर रिश्ता है स्वाद से जुड़ा।
I choose a world where we dream and the limit is the sky, and this world is my home where I'm living my best.
Mindfully crafted home decor fabrics. Sansar, a D-Decor brand. Live consciously.
थोड़े में ज्यादा स्वाद, यही तो है इसकी खास बात। वाओ मम्मा, क्या स्वाद है? अरे मेरी राजा, सबका राजा और प्योर मसाला।
You may also have observed that Operation Sindoor has emerged as a great example demonstrating the success of our indigenous platforms, equipment, and the weapon systems. Its achievements have once again underlined that in the times to come, self-reliance is an absolute necessity. We have indeed made significant progress on the path of self-reliance, but there is still a long way ahead that we must travel. If we talk about self-reliance, especially in the field of the defense manufacturing, then I would like to say that India has embarked on a historic journey. We are once counted among the world's largest importers, but today, on the path of the self-reliant India, we are making a place among the reliable exporters of the world. Today, our indigenous platforms, light combat aircraft Tejas, advanced towed artillery gun systems,
Being a legend means reaching a point where no one else has. To give others a dream worth chasing. 10 years of Creta, legend forever.
आधे बाउल दही में 4 चम्मच MDH चटनी पुदीना मसाला डाला, स्टर करो, पुदीना चटनी तैयार। MDH चटनी पुदीना मसाला। MDH
केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ रे, दिल झूमे देखो तुम्हारा हुआ रे, केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ।
हर पल मनाओ केसरी त्योहार। विमल, बोलो जुबान केसरी।
आर प्योर सूजी पास्ता, उबालो, मिलाओ और खाओ।
8 मिनट में तैयार।
क्या टेस्ट है, सबका राजा आर प्योर मसाला।
You may also have observed that Operation Sindoor has emerged as a great example demonstrating the success of our indigenous platforms, equipment, and the weapon systems. Its achievements have once again underlined that in the times to come, self-reliance is an absolute necessity. We have indeed made significant progress on the path of self-reliance, but there is still a long way ahead that we must travel. If we talk about self-reliance,
from Asia's largest news headquarters, setting the agenda for Bharat. You're watching Republic.
We are live and breaking. I'm Shivangi Shukla getting you the latest coming in. Top Trump aide makes a bizarre statement on India-US tariffs. We'll get to all those details, but the headlines first. Army falls infiltration bid along LoC and Jammu and Kashmir's Naushera. 2 terrorists neutralized. 40 killed in Jammu and Kashmir. Flash floods, relief and rescue operations are in full swing. Congress Chief Mallikarjun Kharge on DK Shivakumar on RSS anthem recitation says the leader has apologized, adds that he will not reopen a closed case. Prime Minister Modi to embark on a 2-day visit to Japan today for the 15th India-Japan Annual Summit. White House advisor Peter Navarro labelled the Ukraine conflict Modi's war, claiming that India's purchase of discounted Russian oil has fueled Moscow's aggression. Democrats on the U.S. House Foreign Affairs Committee slammed President Trump for unfairly singling out India with steep 50% tariffs. And viewers, the White House advisor Peter Navarro has labelled the Ukraine conflict Modi's war, claiming that India's purchase of discounted Russian oil has now fueled Moscow's aggression and burdened American taxpayers, while saying India could get a 25% reduction in US tariffs if it stops buying Russian oil. In an interview, White House advisor Peter Navarro referred to the conflict influenced by India, saying that the path to peace runs in part through New Delhi. So very, very bizarre logic. White House advisor and a top Trump aide, Peter Navarro, has said that the path to peace in Ukraine runs in part through New Delhi. Now remember that Peter Navarro is accusing India of fueling Russia's war through discounted oil purchases. In an interview, he said that India would straight away get a 25% reduction in US tariff if it stopped buying Russian oil. Navarro also underscored that the path to peace in Ukraine runs in part through New Delhi. I mean, it is essentially Modi's war because the road to peace runs in part through New Delhi. Remember that these remarks are coming in as President Trump's 50% tariffs on Indian goods took effect yesterday. In fact, we are being joined right now by a guest to help us understand what exactly is going on. Ambassador Deepak Vora, former envoy, joining us here on Republic TV. Thank you for joining us here, Ambassador. Very bizarre logic, specifically saying that the path to peace in Ukraine runs in part through New Delhi. What kind of a bizarre logic is this on the India-US tariffs, Ambassador?
Thank you very much. Can you hear me, ma'am?
Yes, I can.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I've just landed in New Delhi from Leh Airport. And Leh, of course, the most beautiful part of the world. They'd have never heard of Peter Navarro, much as you might imagine that he's the king of the universe. Now, let me just tell you, earlier he had said that if India wants to be a strategic partner, it should behave like one. Could you please send him a copy of an English language dictionary that a partnership is never one person with himself or herself, but it's more than one. I can also tell him if US wants to be a partner of India, then the US should behave like one. But this nonsense about the path to peace running through New Delhi, let me also just tell him that the path to peace runs through Washington. If the United States decides to have zero
Yes. Democrats also we're coming to know that Democrats on the U.S. House Foreign Affairs Committee slammed President Trump for unfairly singling out India with steep 50% tariffs, even as China, one of the largest buyers of Russian oil, faces no such penalties. In a statement posted on X, the panel's Democrats said that instead of imposing sanctions on China or other purchasing larger amounts of Russian oil, Trump's is going ahead singling out India with tariffs, hurting Americans and sabotaging the US and their relationship in that process. So what we see right now are back-to-back updates coming in on Republic TV, where we see the Democrats also going ahead and saying that Trump is hurting its ties with India, the US-India ties. The Democrats' U.S. House Foreign Affairs Committee has slammed President Trump and his administration for singling out India over its purchase of Russian oil, even as China, one of Moscow's largest crude exporters, faces no such penalties. And I think we have with us back Ambassador Deepak Vora joining us. Ambassador, you know, what we see right now is that the Democrats have gone ahead and slammed Donald Trump. And, you know, it's very clear that the Democrats are exposing Trump and even suggesting that Trump is trying to drag India into issues where India has no role. Yes, can you hear me?
The Democrats are absolutely right, but on the other hand, ma'am, it's important to remember that Donald Trump... Do you hear me?
Yes, yes.
Hello.
All right. All right, we connect back to Ambassador Deepak Vora on this, but Democrats' U.S. House Foreign Affairs Committee has slammed President Trump and his administration for singling out India over its purchase of Russian oil. And the Democrats panel has posted, instead of imposing sanctions on China or other purchasing larger amounts of Russian oil, Trump is singling out India with tariffs. Okay, let's move ahead, because viewers remember Trump's sanctions on India unraveled decades of diplomatic work towards a strategic Indo-US partnership built on shared concerns over China, military incident, Operation Sindoor, and India's strike on a US-linked Pakistani base worsened ties influenced by the deep state. Trump shifted towards Pakistan, alienating India. In response, India has pivoted to Russia and other partners, asserting its sovereignty, strategic autonomy, and resilience. Major General J.D. Bakshi explains more.
Donald Trump's punitive sanctions he enforced on India. Now, there was a school of thought amongst our seasoned diplomats that we've expended 30 years of effort and time and energy into trying to forge a India-United States strategic partnership, a strategic quasi-alliance, if you so will, which was based on shared values, shared geostrategic interests. The values didn't work so well as the shared geostrategic interests did work, in terms of the fact that China was seen as the rising hegemon. China was seen as the principal threat to the United States, to India, to the weaker countries in Southeast Asia, etc. And therefore, there was a need for a Indo-US strategic partnership, which was supposed to be the defining partnership of the 21st century. There was a bipartisan consensus in the United States itself, and for the past 30 years, one hell of a lot of diplomatic effort and energy have been expended into trying to forge this partnership. Now, anon comes Donald Trump, and in one fell stroke, he has made this diplomatic partnership, this strategic partnership, he trash-canned the whole thing. The effort of 30 years gone, flushed down the tube of history in one fell stroke. One temperamental stroke by Trump, and the entire edifice of our geostrategic equation between India and the United States gone up in smoke. There were people who were hoping against hope that even now nothing is lost, that Donald Trump changes his mind, he does flip-flops, that he does about turns, he does volte-faces, and even now within hours of that so-called deadline, he would waive these punitive tariffs, and it would all go back to, you know, lovey-dovey relationship that we had in Donald Trump 1.0. Well, from the very beginning, I was inclined to be highly skeptical, for the simple reason that it is not the trades and tariffs alone that have brought us to this sorry pass. It is the target list of Operation Sindoor. The Pakistani Air Force tried to hit 15 Indian air bases. first through drones, then it tried through the standoff munitions fired by its jet fighters, and they got shot down out of the sky like flies by the S-400 Triumph missiles. Quite obviously, India had to hit back, and India hit back and destroyed Noor Khan, the $500 million facility created by the General Electric Company of the United States as a nuclear proof, a bunker that could withstand a nuclear attack. And it was all jam-packed with satellite communications, with computer servers, consoles, etc., which was the command and control hub of the Pakistani Air Force. What we did not know was that it was still being used by the United States of America 7 years after they had fled in a very disgraceful manner, if you please, from Afghanistan. In a disgraceful exit from Afghanistan on the orders of Joe Biden, because he wanted to pivot back from Asia to Europe. He suddenly designated overnight that China was not the main enemy of the United States, that it was Russia. And then towards the end of his relationship, initially it was Joe Biden who had asked India to keep buying Russian oil and gas so that the price of oil would not cross $120 a barrel and create inflation in a very major way in an election year in the United States. It was Joe Biden who had asked us to do that. Suddenly he flipped, he flopped, and he said, you are either with us or... And the hostility that the Joe Biden regime in its fading years showed towards India was unbelievable. And at the back of it was the deep state in America.
Yes, getting some big breaking updates coming in right now, viewers, and this is huge. In fact, we're getting some big breaking updates. Acting on intelligence inputs, the Bihar police headquarters has been alerted about the infiltration of 3 suspected Pakistan-based Jaish-e-Mohammed terrorists in the pole-bound state through the Nepal border. The 3 individuals are Hassan Ali from Rawalpindi, Adil Hussain from Umerkot, Muhammad Usman from Bahawalpur are believed to have entered Bihar with potential plans to disrupt, I repeat, disrupt the peace ahead of the elections. A lot of security forces and agencies have intensified vigilance along the Indo-Nepal border, and a high alert has been issued across the state. 3 Jaish terrorists are suspected of infiltration, viewers. Of course, we'll try to get our viewers more updates on the story, but this is huge coming in. I repeat, this is huge coming in, given the fact that elections are around the corner and security agencies are going ahead and have issued a high alert. This is a big update coming in, intel coming in of 3 Jaish terrorists who are trying to enter Bihar through Nepal. The entire state of Bihar is right now on high alert. I repeat, the entire state of Bihar is now on high alert, viewers. We come to know that the Bihar police headquarters has said that 3 suspected members of the Pakistani-based terror outfit Jaish-e-Mohammed have infiltrated, I repeat, have infiltrated Bihar through the Nepal border. The Bihar police headquarters has issued a statewide high alert after receiving intelligence reports about the entry of Pakistan-based terrorists into the state. These are suspects which have been identified as Hasnain Ali from Rawalpindi, Adil Hussain from Umerkot, Muhammad Usman from Bahawalpur, as per information which has been shared already, viewers. And
देखिए, यह साजिश चाहे जिसकी भी हो, लेकिन कोई भी आतंकवादी की अब खैर भारत की भूमि पर नहीं है। यह मोदी की सरकार है और गृह मंत्री अमित शाह जी की निगाह सीमा के एक एक इंच पर है। हम घुसने नहीं देंगे, जरूरत पड़ा तो उसको जहन्नुम में भी भेजेंगे और जेल भी भेजेंगे। और बिहार की सरकार भी उसके लिए चौकस है कि कोई आतंकवादी नेपाल की सीमा से हो या किसी सीमा से हो बिहार में न घुस पाए।
All right, getting back to what's coming in right now on Republic TV, and 3 Jaish terrorists are suspected of infiltration. Now, let's tell you exactly what is happening. There are reports coming in that these terrorists have tried to infiltrate through the Nepal border. That is right. They believe to have entered Nepal with potential plans, and their plan is to disturb the peace. I repeat, disturb the peace ahead of elections. The entire state of Bihar is right now on high alert, viewers. The entire state is on high alert. We'll, of course, get our viewers more updates as to exactly what is happening. But this is a big update coming in right now. Security agencies have gone ahead and they are intensifying vigilance along the Indo-Nepal border. And a high alert has been issued across the state. I repeat, across the state. Now, the pictures can be seen on your screens. These are 3 pictures. The suspects have been identified, and their name is there on your screens. They are believed to be Jaish terrorists, Jaish operatives who have entered into Bihar through Nepal border. Remember that there are different routes these terrorists take to enter into India, Nepal being one of them, the Indo-Nepal border. Now, these are 3 suspects, and as you can see, the names are clearly written on the screen. So, there's Hasnain Ali, Rawalpindi, Pakistan, Adil Hussain, Umerkot, Pakistan, and Mohammed Usman. Mohammed Usman is from Bhavalpur, Pakistan. So back to back is coming in right now, viewers on Republic TV, and the entire state is on high alert. There are 3 Pakistani Jaish terrorists entering through Nepal to Bihar. And I really want to go ahead to my colleague who's joining us. We have with us Prakash, editor, special projects, joining us right now. Thank you for joining us here, Prakash. And you know what we see, Prakash, that patrolling has been intensified in border areas from what we understand, including West Champaran district. We are seeing this is happening as the entire state, Prakash, is on high alert to catch these terrorists, these infiltrators. All right, Prakash, can you hear me? Prakash?
Well, yes.
Yes. Prakash, you know, we are showing those pictures of these terrorists, and we understand that the entire state of Bihar is on high alert.
First, let me speak. So, yes, the intelligence agencies have sounded an alert, and it is a regular protocol as far as the elections are concerned. And whenever the Prime Minister or any such dignitaries visit, it's a normal protocol of the intelligence inputs that such and such incidences are going to happen, and you have to take precautionary measure. And if it doesn't happen, it doesn't matter. And if it happens, then people say that the IB had alerted. But here we have sketches from, because the Bihar police is not confirming as yet from where these sketches have come. But yes, there's a group called SMAC where it might have appeared from. And the names are Hasnain Ali, Rawalpindi, Pakistan, Adil Hussain, Umerkot, Pakistan, and Mohammed Usman, Bhavalpur, Pakistan. It is being said that these 3 people have been identified as Jaish Muhammad terrorists who have infiltrated into the porous border of Indo-Nepal area, and that extends to around 1,600 kilometers in Bihar itself, starting from Balmiki Nagar in West Champaran to Kishanganj in the Kochi belt, and that's a long, huge area, and the border is entirely porous, and it's very easy, safe gateway for any terrorists coming in from Pakistan via Kathmandu and then entering into Bihar, or so to say, UP border as well, the adjoining areas of Gorakhpur, Padrona, and other areas which joins Nepal's border. So these are the important catchment point from where the terrorists can enter and have been entering into Bihar. Because remember, Yasin Batkal was arrested from the West Champaran area in the forest area around 14 years back on the intelligence input of IB by the Bihar police. So this is nothing new. And though the alert has come, security agencies and different forces of paramilitary forces of Bihar as well as the central paramilitary forces have been alerted in Bihar, keeping in mind the fact that Bihar goes to the polls in October, November. And there would be visit of many dignitaries in Bihar, including Prime Minister Narendra Modi and several other important functionaries. So this is an important development coming in, and security forces have been alerted. Back to you.
All right, thank you for joining us with those details, Prakash. I really have to move ahead right now to some of the other stories we're tracking on Republic TV. And getting some more breaking updates coming in, RCB has issued a first ever statement on the Bengaluru stampede incident. The RCB has said that the silence was not absence but grief. Team has said that the space was filled with energy, with memories and moments that people enjoyed, but 4th June broke everyone's hearts. First statement coming in of the RCB, and the RCB have ended a 3-month silence with an emotional message, that's what they're calling it. And they are also saying that they were not quiet for any other reason apart from grief. The team has said that the space was filled with energy, memories and moments that people enjoyed, but 4th June broke everyone's heart. So they were referring to the tragedy which occurred on 4th June when thousands gathered outside the Chinnaswamy Stadium in Bengaluru to celebrate RCB's maiden IPL triumph. And in that incident, there was a stampede where many people lost their lives. All right, let's move ahead now to some of the other stories we're tracking on Republic TV. India-Bhutan bilateral relations marked a significant milestone with clean and green energy. Now, the hydroelectric projects there have been fully completed, along with its synchronization of one of the 6th and final unit. Take a look.
Bhutan's Prime Minister Shering Tokbe and Energy Minister Jem Shering, along with India's Ambassador Sudhakar Dalela, graced the milestone occasion. The massive 1,020 megawatt project has been under construction for years. The Unit 6 produced 170 megawatts, making the project now fully operational. The first unit was commissioned in December 2024. Since its first commissioning, Punata Sanguchu 2 has already generated more than 2,160 million units of clean energy. This significant landmark celebrates a shared commitment towards sustainable development and clean energy. Therefore, Punata Sanguchu 2 is more than just a power project. It's a testament to the strength of the India-Bhutan partnership.
Bharat 1 Minute brought to you by Canara Bank. Together we can.
All right, getting some updates coming in. Chandigarh-Manali highway closed due to landslide in Banala amid heavy rainfall in the area. Restoration work is underway, trying to restore the situation. UP Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath expressed condolences to the families of those who died in a landslide near Vaishno Devi Shrine. In Jammu and Kashmir, CM Yogi also announced financial assistance of Rs 4 lakhs for the families of deceased residents of UP. The Army Marksmanship Unit located in Madhya Pradesh will now train military personnel, nurturing national talent to compete in major national and international shooting competitions, including the Olympics. Getting some big breaking updates coming in right now, viewers. We coming know that in the Dharmasthala mass burial case, the police sources are saying a couple of things. I just want to take our viewers through the latest coming in right now, because we are seeing that in the latest, the police sources are saying the original charges in the alleged mass burial case remain unchanged as the investigation into the recovered human remains, missing persons case and other UDRS is still ongoing. The newly added sections relate only to the skull submitted before the court and have been included in the same FIR. That is right, viewers. The tables turn. Now police go after the anti-temple conspirators in the case, viewers. There's some back-to-back updates coming in on Republic TV. SIT adds perjury and the fake evidence charges to the same case. Pro-Biden under the 10 BNS sections. So BNS sections are such: 336 forgery, 227 given false evidence, 228 fabricating false evidence, 229 punishment for false evidence, 230 false evidence in capital cases, 231 false evidence in life 7+ years cases, 232 threatening for false evidence. So these are, I'm reading out all these charges. I'm reading out all these charges right now, viewers. As I want to go across to my colleague who's joining us right now. Yes, let's go ahead to our colleague Abhishek. Abhishek, you know, tables have turned. Police are going after these anti-temple conspirators right now. If we could just take our viewers through the latest coming in.
Shivangi, when the whistleblower who appeared in front of the Bentonville magistrate stated that he collected the skull out of his own will, and he also wanted to make a statement in front of the magistrate stating that there were over hundreds of bodies which had been buried by him in between 1998 to 2014 in and around Baramulla and river Neutralized. The magistrate considered his statement under section 182 and recorded his entire statement on the video recording as well. And after which the Karnataka state government formulated a special investigation team, after which the marksman took the special investigation team officials to 13 to 19 places where he claimed to have buried over hundreds of bodies. However, point number 6 and 11A are the only two places where partial remains of the skulls and the skeletons were found. On the other hand, marksman, after revealing his identity, has given interviews to various of the YouTube channels and some of the channels who support his instinct and his thoughts. At this point of time, the court has taken into consideration the statement made by him during the course of investigation by the special investigation team. He had previously mentioned that he was in the captivity or in the shelter by a gang of people. And he acted upon their directions is what he previously claimed. So at this point of time, Shivangi, there are allegations against him, and once upon a time, he
Abhishek,
was the complainant.
we got it. We understand the perjury and the fake evidence charges have been filed, and I will be coming back to you. I've taken a very short break right now. We'll be back. We are live and breaking, viewers. Let's take a short break. Much more coming right up. Army foils infiltration bid along LoC, and Jammu and Kashmir's Naushera, 2 terrorists are neutralized. 40+ killed in Jammu and Kashmir, flash floods, relief and rescue operations in full swing. Stay tuned.
I choose a world where we dream, and the limit is the sky. And this world is my home where I'm living my best.
Mindfully crafted home decor fabrics. Sansar, a decor brand. Live consciously.
Our pure Shahi Paneer Masala. Delicious, healthy, every day.
हर पल मनाओ केसरी त्योहार। विमल, बोलो जुबान केसरी।
MDH की हल्दी मिर्ची धनिया करे कमाल। ये रंग दे, ये खुशबू दे, ये तीखा, ये कम पड़े। क्या निराला MDH मसाला।
viewers, top headlines. Army foils infiltration bid. Along LoC and Jammu and Kashmir's Naushera, 2 terrorists have been neutralized. 40 killed in Jammu and Kashmir flash floods, relief and rescue operations in full swing. Congress Chief Mallikarjun Kharge on DK Shivakumar on RSS anthem. Recitation says the leader has apologized. Adds that he will not reopen a closed case. Prime Minister Modi to embark on a 2-day visit to Japan today for the 15th India-Japan Annual Summit. White House advisor Peter Navarro labelled the Ukraine conflict Modi's war, claiming that India's purchase of discounted Russian oil has fueled Moscow's aggression. Democrats on the U.S. House Foreign Affairs Committee slammed President Trump for unfairly singling out India a steep 50% tariffs. And viewers, let's go ahead to the big story we're tracking right now. In a dramatic twist in the Dharmasthala case, the police have filed charges of perjury and fabrication of evidence against individuals involved in a conspiracy to defame the temple. The so-called anti-temple gang now faces legal action for misleading, I repeat, misleading the investigation with false claims and false materials. Authorities are citing deliberate attempts to malign the temple's reputation. They shifted focus to those accused of orchestrating the hoax. The SIT, which has been probing the Dharmasthala case, has widened its investigation. 10 additional charges have been slapped under the BNS, and these charges relate to perjury, forgery, fabrication of evidence against the whistleblower. So back-to-back updates coming in here on Republic TV. The tables have turned. Now police are going after these anti-temple conspirators. We're trying to connect to Abhishek in a short while from now to understand exactly what is happening in the case. But it's a huge update coming in where this anti-temple gang is facing the perjury and fake evidence charges. So fresh charges have already been filed, like we told you right now, that there are 10 additional charges under the BNS. I want to go across to our executive editor, Niranjan, who's joining us right now. Niranjan, 10 additional charges under the BNS have been filed. And this too, against these anti-temple conspirators.
Well, it was bound to happen because we expected, these developments, especially after the entire plot was busted. You had, this masked man and his entire gang, including Sujata Bhatt and the activists. It appears that they had cooked up a story all along. And, it's now turning back on them because they will be investigated for faking the evidence, for providing false evidence starting from the skull, which is the visual on the left of your screen. We can keep changing the visuals on the left of the screen because not just the skull, you have that Ananya Bhatt, you have the different angles that are now coming out. It appears now that the police is focusing the investigation completely on the fact that there was a conspiracy, on the fact that, they tried to manufacture evidence, and the fact that they came up with a false story to target the temple. So they're going after the conspiracy angle now. And the different charges that we are seeing that have been booked. As far as this particular case is concerned, we're getting in more details. Let me just take you through some of the charges. The additional charges, a new FIR. The original charges, we are being told, in the alleged mass burial case remain unchanged as the investigation into recovered human remains, missing persons, and other cases are ongoing. But the newly added sections relate only to the skull that was submitted, and the skull itself, we know, was a fake piece of evidence that was shared with the SIT. They've now added perjury and fake evidence, 336 of BNS, which is forgery, creating, altering fake documents. Section 227, giving false evidence, deliberately lying. 228, fabricating false evidence. 229, punishment for false evidence. 230, false evidence in capital cases. 231, false evidence in life. And similarly, all the new charges that have been added essentially will be in relation to this skull that was produced, it appeared that the skull was not even that of a woman, it was that of a man. So I think the game is called out, and it's likely to get interesting in the next few days. The focus will be on the lying, cheating, and the attempt to tarnish the image of the temple and to tarnish Hindus. Back now.
Right, and Niranjan, Republic Kannada has been getting so many details of this, of the Dharmasala hoax case, because we have told our viewers that the police arrested a whistleblower saying that he has misled the investigation with false information. That was the biggest story that we were tracking.
Yeah, I mean, because see, suddenly, I mean, in the last 2-3 days, the investigation has turned completely to the fact that, they lied. All of them lied. There was no mass burial. There were no mass rapes. There were no mass murders. And there were no mass burial. And that is clear now, because you have the masked man who has confessed that he was under pressure. Masked man has said he lied. Masked man has said he was forced to make these charges. Masked man has said that he was brought to Delhi. Sujata Bhatt, who was the second character in this entire game, the plot, she has said that she was forced to lie. She has also admitted that she was taken away by the activists and being tutored by them in a farmhouse. She has also admitted that she was taken to Delhi by these people. So all in all, this is a case which was concocted, and it was Republic TV that actually, and Republic Kannada, that exposed them left, right, center. We also said that the masked man, we were able to prove that the masked man was not even from Karnataka. He's actually from Tamil Nadu. And he had just come to, Karnataka to cook up the story. So it was a plot, perhaps, with the role of some in Tamil Nadu, as alleged by the BJP. They claim that a Congress MP is involved. We don't know. The Congress MP has denied these charges, but we're keeping a close track on that story. Back to you for now.
All right, thank you for joining us there, Niranjan, Executive Editor, joining us there. A huge update coming in the Dharmasala case. I really have to move ahead right now, viewers, to some of the other story we're tracking on Republic TV. Let's move ahead to the next set of breaking updates coming in. All right, India's economy could reach USD $20.7 trillion in terms of purchasing power parity, PPP, by 2030, and may emerge as the second largest economy by 2038 with $34.2 trillion GDP. Report also say that with appropriate countermeasures, India can limit the adverse impact of higher US tariffs on selected Indian imports to about 10 basis points of the real GDP growth. So back-to-back updates coming in, viewers. India may emerge the second largest economy by 2038 with USD $34.2 trillion GDP in PPP terms. Future coming in right now, viewers. It is emerging as one of the most dynamic among the world's 5 largest economies with strong economic fundamentals, including high savings and investment rates. India and the US are finalizing a deal worth over $1 billion for 113 General Electric 404 Mark 1 engines to power the Indian Air Force's LCA Mark 1A. This agreement follows a previous contract for around 99 GE 404 engines, which has now faced delays of over 2 years. India has pressed the US to expedite the delivery of these critical engines to bolster its Air Force capabilities. Here's all that you need to know.
U.S. President Donald Trump's new tariff rate of 50% has kicked in. 25% tariffs were already in place. Another 25% have been imposed starting today as a result of India's purchase of Russian oil. Amid these tariffs being imposed, India is on track to sign a $1 billion contract with American aerospace giant General Electric for the supply of 113 GE 404 engines to support the expanding Tejas fighter jet program. Sources say discussions are progressing steadily, with a formal agreement expected to be inked by September. Under the proposed timeline, GE will deliver 2 engines per month, ensuring a continuous supply for India's indigenous fighter production. This upcoming deal follows India's approval of an earlier contract for 97 additional LCA Mark 1A jets, valued at over 62,000 crore rupees, part of the broader plan to replace the Indian Air Force's retiring MiG-21 fleet. Public sector giant HAL, which is manufacturing the jets, has already procured 99 engines for the first batch of 83 aircraft. The new order of 113 will bridge the gap for the next round of production, helping HAL hit its target of 212 GE 404 engines without delays. The delivery schedule is ambitious. HAL aims to complete the first batch by the end of 2029-30, followed by a second batch by 2033-34. Meanwhile, talks are also advancing for the more powerful GE 414 engines to be used in the upcoming LCA Mark II and Advanced Medium Combat Aircraft AMCA. That deal may include up to 80% technology transfer, a crucial step in India's push for defense manufacturing independence. As India phases out older platforms, this fresh engine order is seen as a crucial boost for both the Air Force's combat readiness and the Make in India defense vision.
Getting some more breaking news coming in right now. The Nikki Bhati dowry death case, investigators from Kasna police have now recorded statements from the Fortis Hospital doctors and nurses. And in fact, the police have seen CCTV footage showing relatives Devendra, Daya Bhati, mother-in-law, Satvir Bhati, father-in-law, Rohit Bhati, brother-in-law, present at that hospital. Investigation, remember, is continuing right now. The police investigation is continuing right now. And the investigators are looking at all possible angles. And this is coming in as we saw a huge twist in the case already, where now Nikki's sister-in-law has accused Nikki's family of harassment and dowry demand. So this entire story is taking multiple turns. And simultaneously, we see the Kasna police have recorded statements. Let's go to Akil. Okay, we'll go to Akil. We'll connect back to Akil once he's back with us. But the investigators from Kasna police have now recorded statements from Fortis Hospital doctors and nurses. The dowry death probe is still on. Multiple angles are being investigated by the police. And remember, on the right-hand side, you can see that it's a fresh twist coming in that case already, where Nikki Bhati's sister-in-law has alleged that she was physically assaulted and humiliated by Nikki's family members over dowry demands. So counter charges are also coming on Nikki's skin. On the left hand of your screen, you can see that already those pictures, very disturbing pictures coming in of the abuse that Nikki had to suffer. But the investigation is still continuing in this case, viewers. The questioning is taking place right now. I want to go back to Akil. Akil, it looks like some more statements have been recorded from the doctors and nurses. If you could just take our viewers through the latest coming in.
Well, Shivangi, if you see what we have got to learn from the Gautam Buddha Nagar police team, that they have the Fortis Hospital, and after that she was taken to the Safdarjung Hospital. So initially the doctors who were treating Nikki at that point in time, their statements were recorded by the Gautam Buddha Nagar police team. Second important thing which has come to light, that Kanchan's statement has also been recorded by the Kasna police team. And if you see, I was spoken to the DCP a few moments back, and he has confirmed this, that as of now his son's statement has not been recorded in connection with the case, because if you see, he has been traumatized by the entire episode. So it is very likely that very soon the Gautam Buddha Nagar police team is going to record the statement of that kid as well, because it's a very crucial piece of evidence. Because if you see, initially when that incident took place, who that person was who basically told that kid to say that, to give that kind of a statement that we have seen on the video. So it's pretty clear that at that point in time someone must have said something to that kid, and after that he has said those things. Because if you see, when that incident took place, at that point in time the main accused in connection with the case, who is the husband of Nikki, he was standing outside. This is what the CCTV cameras footages that we have recovered has shown. We have got the time stamp on that CCTV camera, which has shown us that it was 5:42 p.m. when Nikki's husband can be seen outside the very residence, and the commotion which took place from the very residence at that point in time. The details that we have recovered from the FIR report is 5:47. So what basically transpired during that 5-minute period? So the Gautam Budh Nagar police team is basically corroborating both the details from the CCTV footages as well, and the statements that they have recorded from the family members, including the mother-in-law of Nikki. Apart from that, father-in-law of Nikki,
yes,
and his sister Kanchan.
Yes, hold on, Akhil, hold on, because we're getting one more breaking update coming in. Kasna police have recorded Nikki's sister Kanchan's statement as well, and Nikki's son's statement is yet to be recorded as he's traumatized. I repeat, Nikki's son, remember, young boy. He has seen the crime and he's traumatized by the entire episode. The post-mortem report is out. Okay, post-mortem report is out. And I think I'll go back to Akhil right now, because Akhil will help us understand what exactly is happening in terms of the post-mortem report and the questioning and the statements which are being recorded. Yes, Akhil, what information do we have about the post-mortem report? And we saw, we have seen how Nikki's son, it was very heart-wrenching when he narrated that he saw his mother being tortured and abused. He's traumatized, and we understand his statement will be recorded later. Yes, Akhil.
Well, Shivangi, if you see the entire episode, entire story basically hang on one single point, that whether this entire episode is just a story of a suicide or was it staged. So the Gautam Budh Nagar police team is trying deep diving into this very matter to understand that whether someone else committed this crime and basically put a blame on someone else. So this is being investigated, or this is a case of suicide. So this is the entire matter being investigated by the Gautam Budh Nagar police team. So far, the initial information that we have received from the post-mortem report, they have basically given a cause due to the burn, the death taking place due to the burn injury. For that, we'll have to wait and watch to get the forensic report. So forensic tests have already been done. The report has not come out because it takes time to come out, the forensic report to come out. So once the forensic details will come out, then only things will be clearer that what all incident took place from the very location when there were only two persons who were present inside the very room, and after that his son was brought into that room and given a statement. So these things are very crucial. So Kasna police has not given any statement on that direction, because they are saying that even at this stage, once the report will come out, then only things will be clearer.
All right, Akhil, thank you for getting us all those details. I will be coming back to you as the investigation continues. We're ready to move ahead right now, viewers. Series of flash floods and landslides, bridge collapses and whatnot, viewers. Heavy rains have wreaked havoc in the state of Jammu and Kashmir, with more than 40 dead, including kids and an army personnel who was deployed there for rescue missions. Commute and communication, both of them have been severely affected. Take a look at this report.
Heavy rains are continuing in the Jammu district, and also the water level is rising with each passing minute. Right now we are at the Jammu Tawi, where the water level has already surpassed the alert mark. Right now, since morning, we have been witnessing that how the water level is rising in the upper reaches of Jammu, and now here at the Jammu Tawi, you will see that the water levels have reached the next level, because in the upper reaches of the Udhampur, we are witnessing regular rainfalls taking place, and also the inclement weather conditions that are making it really very challenging. And here at the Jammu Tawi, the gusty flow of the water is making it really very challenging for the authorities to actually save the lower lying areas of Jammu. Here the fourth bridge of Jammu Tawi, the traffic is now moving with the full flow, but the authorities are also keeping a tab on the movement of the traffic.